Chapter 1287. Rumble. Just as the Mirror Moon sex momentum was in sight, and Yi Chen Feng and the others worked together to push them back, the Mirror Moon sect's forbidden grounds suddenly trembled, and a bottomless crack appeared. Large amounts of golden light shot out from the crack, as though a sun was being nurtured in the crack. Progenitor! The progenitor has awakened. Seeing the golden light in the distance, Taoist Mirror Flower and Jing Qian, who were at their limits, were overjoyed. They saw hope in their despairing eyes. Who dares to cause trouble in my Mirror Moon sect? A deep and domineering voice sounded from the crack. An ancient coffin that seemed to be made of gold flew out from the crack and floated in the air. At the next moment, a man wearing golden armor and holding a golden spear, looking like a golden god of war, pushed open the golden ancient coffin and walked out. The juniors are useless and unable to protect the Mirror Moon sect. Progenitor! Please bless my Mirror Moon sect and seek justice for my Mirror Moon sect. When the Golden War God appeared and shocked everyone, the severely injured Taoist Mirror Flower and Jing Qian took the opportunity to fly to the Golden War God's side and denounce Yi Chenfeng's evil deeds. Progenitor, the Mirror Moon sect's progenitor, is actually still alive. Jing Qian's address of the Golden War God shocked everyone. They didn't expect the Mirror Moon sect to have such a trump card. Their progenitor was actually still alive. Why did such a thing happen? The appearance of the Golden War God was like a bolt of lightning that struck Nan Gongzhang, leaving him dumbfounded. He originally thought that the Mirror Moon sect's momentum was gone and that there was no way to reverse the situation. He was thinking of a way to appease Yi Chenfeng's enemies against the Nangong family. But in the blink of an eye, the Mirror Moon sect's progenitor appeared and reversed the situation, causing his heart to turn cold. No, there was something wrong with the Golden War God. He wasn't alive. His body was controlled by someone. Lei Ziffin frowned and stared at the Golden War God who suddenly appeared. He discovered that his eyes hidden in the golden light were empty and lifeless. There were no signs of life in his body. He sensed something was wrong. Not a living person? Lei Zixin frowned as she thought of a possibility. If I'm not wrong, Mirror Moon ancestor Lei Feng died a long time ago. But when he passed away, the Mirror Moon sect used some unknown method to seal his soul, allowing it to live until now. It became the Mirror Moon sect's greatest trump card. Lei Ziffin nodded, understanding the greatest secret of the Mirror Moon sect. Brother, who do you think will have the last laugh today? Lei Zixin looked at Yi Chenfeng's solemn expression and asked in a low voice. I didn't expect the Mirror Moon sect to have such a trump card. Right now, it's hard to say who will win. Lei Ziffin shook his head and said, but that Yi Chen Feng still has annihilation orb that can kill Nirvana's Almighty. I think that even if they can't win, they can still leave safely. The Mirror Moon sect was not to be invaded. Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor released a savage voice. The golden battle clothes shone brilliantly, making him the only one present, shining so brilliantly that others couldn't open their eyes, feeling a sense of worship. I think Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor is just a lonely soul. The God-Eater brain quickly deduced and sensed Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor's true state. This made Yi Chen Feng relax. With the God-Eater brain, he didn't fear souls at all. You're asking for death. Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor roared. Like a falling sun, he shone with golden light and attacked Yi Chen Feng and the others. Chaos God Beast, Marquis Qianming, I'll leave those two to you. I'll deal with this lonely soul with a sword puppet. Saying this, Yi Chen Feng, who was wearing a golden dragon robe and had an extreme defense, exploded with 200 million pounds of power and affected Mirror Moon ancestral ancestor with the sword puppet. Boom, boom, two loud sounds rang out. Yi Chen Feng and the other two were like three meteors crashing into each other in the air. There was an earth-shattering explosion, kicking up huge waves. Even though Mirror Moon ancestor was only left with her soul, she was still terrifying. In addition, the Golden Battle God was extremely tough and powerful. When they clashed head-on, Yi Qin Feng was blown away by the power of the Golden Battle God. But in the next moment, Yi Qin Feng rushed over with the dragon's spine, sacred sword in hand. The four great Tao diagrams surged into the dragon's spine, sacred sword like flowing water, amplifying the might of the sacred sword. He attacked the Golden Battle God with the sword puppet. Facing the attacks of Yi Qin Feng and the sword puppet, Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor relied on the invincible defense of the Golden Battle God. She didn't dodge and allowed the attacks that could destroy mountains and cut rivers to hit her body. Die. While enduring the attacks of Yi Qin Feng and the sword puppet, Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor slapped out across space. An unimaginable force surged out as the palm collapsed the void and struck Yi Qin Feng and the other two. The might of this palm strike was so great that even a mighty figure of Nirvana would be severely injured. However, when it struck the sword puppet's body, it didn't shake it at all. Damn, isn't Yi Qin Feng's avatar too terrifying? He used his body to withstand Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's attack without being damaged. How did he refine this avatar? Just as everyone was shocked by the terrifying sword puppet, Yi Qin Feng took a step forward and flew into the air. He slashed out with his sword, causing the world to change. The heaven-collapsing sword with infinite destructive power tore through the sea of clouds and stirred up the sky as it slashed at the Golden Battle God's body. As far as the eye could see, the sky seemed to have completely collapsed from this strike. A terrifying spatial rift extended for hundreds of feet. Instantly, the world changed color as thunder roared and divine might shook the sky. Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's empty eyes glanced at Yi Qin Feng as she raised her golden right hand high and grabbed forward, shattering Yi Qin Feng's sword beam. With Yi Qin Feng's attack broken, the sword puppet held the black dragon, holy sword, and instantly slashed out 3 times at Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor. It wanted to forcefully break through the Golden Battle God's defense and attack Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's soul. However, the Golden Battle God's defense was too terrifying. The sword puppet burned its energy and held the black dragon holy sword, but it was unable to break through his defense. It was easily blocked. 8 directions killing Fist Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor roared as she continuously used killer moves. Unparalleled fist beams shot out, causing the air to explode wherever they passed. Air currents surged as they continuously attacked Yi Qin Feng and the sword puppet. The sword puppet relied on its indestructible body to block Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's 8 directions killing fist. But Yi Qin Feng couldn't withstand it. He was sent flying by the killing fists. The Mirror Moon sect was indeed worthy of being the second strongest superpower in the Thunder Dominion. Their foundation was too terrifying. Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor's strength had probably surpassed Nirvana's, and the Golden Battle God's defense had definitely reached the level of a saint artifact. Apart from the Thunder Dominion's Great Elder, no one could match it. Yes, they had thought that Yi Qin Feng's victory was already in his grasp, but now it seemed that the Mirror Moon sect was more terrifying. In today's farce, the Mirror Moon sect would probably have the last laugh. Seeing Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor suppress Yi Qin Feng and the sword puppet, the onlookers discussed spiritedly. Hearing the discussions around him, Nan Gongzhen clenched his fists, his heart uneasy. At this time he regretted his blind choice and even had thoughts of retreating. Once Mirror Moon Ancestral Ancestor killed Yi Qin Feng and the others, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Sword puppet, help the chaos divine beast kill Mirror Flower. Leave this ghost to me, Yi Qin Feng, as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and loudly ordered. Hearing Yi Qin Feng's order, the scene fell silent. Everyone's gaze turned to Yi Qin Feng. They wanted to know what methods he had to turn the tide at this time. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, You can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1288. Heavens, is Yi Qinfeng crazy? The two of us together weren't Mirror Moon's match, and now he dares to challenge him alone? Does he want to die? Have you ever seen a freak like Yi Qinfeng who thought his life was too short? If he dares to challenge Mirror Moon, he must have something to rely on. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng's face was slightly pale, but his fighting spirit was high, everyone's attention was focused on him. Big brother, what do you think Yi Qinfeng is relying on? Lei Zixin stared intently at Yi Qinfeng as she asked expectantly. I can't guess. The Mirror Moon primogenitor strength was too terrifying, and the golden battle god he controlled was indestructible. Lei Zifin couldn't think of any method Yi Qinfeng could use to fight against him. Junior, since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. The golden battle god's hollow eyes were filled with killing intent. He took a step forward, crossing dozens of feet in an instant. He appeared in front of Yi Qinfeng and unleashed a golden fist at Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to blow him apart. Sword Steps Mirror Moon's fist came, and Yi Qinfeng immediately used his sword steps to dodge. In an instant, his speed increased tenfold, and he brushed past Mirror Moon's golden fist light to get close to his body. Next, Yi Qinfeng merged with the power of the undead spirit pearl and unleashed a punch at Mirror Moon's body, hitting his golden battle armor. Relying on the golden battle god's invincible defense, the Mirror Moon ancestor blocked the power of Yi Qinfeng's punch. But the power of the undead spirit pearl went through the golden battle armor and into his body. No, what kind of power was this? Mirror Moon felt immense pain from the undead spirit pearl's attack. He let out a pained roar, seeing that the undead spirit orb could deal fatal damage to the dead as he had imagined. Yi Qinfeng continued to fuse with the undead spirit orb. He continued to attack the golden battle god's body with heavy punches. Through the golden battle armor, he continuously damaged the Mirror Moon progenitor's soul and forced him to retreat. What was going on? Seeing Mirror Moon dodging left and right and howling in pain, everyone was dumbfounded. Mirror Moon, who had been insufferably arrogant and invincible, was instantly suppressed by Yi Qinfeng. He couldn't fight back at all. This scene completely overturned everyone's imaginations. What kind of power did Yi Qinfeng use? How could he turn the situation around so quickly? Lei Zixin opened her beautiful eyes wide and stared at Yi Qinfeng, who was constantly shaking her heart and stirring her interest, as she muttered to herself, Sigh, compared to him, I'm too far. Lei's talent was shocking. Lei Zifin, who was known as the #1 expert of the Thunder Clan's younger generation, he rarely admired someone. But after witnessing Ye's performance was to be 8 directional punch. Mirror Moon, who had been continuously attacked by Yi Qinfeng and the undead spirit bead, launched a desperate counterattack. He instantly unleashed a dozen killing punches that sealed a large area of the void and bombarded Yi Qinfeng. Unable to dodge, Yi Qinfeng unleashed the sky-burning sacred flame and the purple beginnings sacred thunder at the powerful 8-direction killing fists. While weakening the 8-direction killing fists, Yi Qinfeng relied on the golden dragon robe and his physical body, which was comparable to a quasi-sage treasure, to take on the Mirror Moon primogenitor's killing move head-on. Boom! 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 Thunderous explosions rang out in the sky. Yi Qinfeng was blown away by one of the killing punches, leaving behind a large amount of blood mist in the air. Will young master you be okay? Seeing Yi Qinfeng being blown away by Mirror Moon, Yin Ruashi's charming face showed deep worry. He should be fine. Although he hadn't fought Mirror Moon, Yin Juyao could feel how terrifying Mirror Moon's attacks were. Even if he faced Mirror Moon's attacks head-on, he would be heavily injured. Whoosh! Just as Yin Ruashi and the others were worried for Yi Qinfeng, Yi Chen-fong summoned the golden wing feather. With a violent flap, he sent a gust of wind flying over. He fused the power of the undead spirit pearl and continued to attack. He was determined to destroy the Mirror Moon primogenitor soul that was hidden inside the golden battle god. Let's see how many punches you can take. Mirror Moon didn't think Yi Chen-feng's defense would be so shocking. He was only lightly injured after taking the 8-directional punch head-on. She continued to use the 8-directional punch to kill Yi Chen-feng. Ancient underworld Songwen Mirror Moon attacked with all her strength. The God-Eater brain quickly deduced and produced a large number of Dao runes. It played the ancient underworld song to attack Mirror Moon's soul in the Golden War God. Being attacked by the ancient underworld song, the Mirror Moon progenitor's attack was immediately affected. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chen-feng pushed his attack speed to the limit. Streaks of fist radiance trailed behind them as they attacked the golden battle god. They passed through his indestructible body and damaged the Mirror Moon progenitor. Her soul injury became more and more severe. She roared in pain and suddenly ignited her powerful soul. She raised her strength to the limit and counterattacked with all her strength. She was determined to kill Yi Chen-feng. Yi Chen-feng relied on his powerful defense and the pearls of dead spirit to fight against Mirror Moon primogen. The Chaos Divine Beast and the Sword Spirit Puppet worked together to continuously injure Mirror Moon primogenitor and cut off his life force. Die, old bastard! When the Sword Puppet forced Mirror Moon enlightened being back, the Chaos Divine Beast erupted with over 100 million gene of strength. It raised the ancient bronze coffin high up and smashed down on him. Mirror Moon enlightened being who was heavily injured and unable to dodge was smashed to the ground. His right arm that he used all his strength to defend exploded. Great ancestor seeing Mirror Moon enlightened being fall to the ground. The disciples of the Mirror Moon sect cried out in grief. The sense of superiority that the Mirror Moon sect gave them was completely shattered. All that was left in their hearts was fear and helplessness. The chaotic space trembled. The sword puppet and the black dragon, holy sword, fused together, becoming an invincible, godly sword. It slashed at Mirror Moon enlightened being who was smashed into the ground. The sword split open his body and destroyed his lower body. Go to hell! The Chaos Divine Beast threw out the ancient bronze coffin with all his strength. Before Mirror Moon enlightened being could self-destruct, it destroyed his head and ended his life. Seeing Mirror Moon enlightened being killed by the Chaos Divine Beast and the sword puppet, Jing Qian, who was using all his strength to defend against Marquis Qianming's attack, fell into a panic. At this time, he could only place all his hopes on Mirror Moon enlightened being. But when he looked at the sky, his hopes were shattered. This was because he saw Mirror Moon enlightened being's greatest support, Mirror Moon enlightened being, get blown hundreds of feet away by Yi Chen-feng's punch, which was filled with the power of death. He slammed into a tall mountain in the distance, shattering the entire mountain. How could this be? How could his strength be so terrifying? Jing Qian's heart was in a mess. The development of the battle had far exceeded his expectations. The power and trump cards that Yi Chen-feng and the others had displayed made him feel even more hopeless. You, what treasure do you have on you? Mirror Moon enlightened being was very confident in the golden battle god's defenses. Even ordinary saint treasures would find it difficult to break through the golden battle god's defenses. However, Yi Chen-feng's punch had easily pierced through the golden battle god and damaged his soul. This made him suspect that Yi Chen-feng had a shocking treasure on him. You talk too much crap. Yi Chen-feng replied coldly. He transformed into a golden beam of light in midair and continued attacking Mirror Moon enlightened being. Under Yi Chen-feng's tide-like attacks, the golden battle god was sent flying again and again, crashing into the towering mountains around Mirror Moon enlightened being. Mirror Moon enlightened being, who was hiding in the golden battle god, had his soul shattered by the power of the dead spirit bead. He could barely hold on. "Kid, go to hell." With his soul shattered and unable to withstand Yi Qinfeng's ferocious attacks, Mirror Moon, who was on the verge of death, let out a shrill cry. He suddenly flew out of the golden battle god and transformed into a beam of soul light that attacked Yi Qinfeng's mind. On the brink of death, he wanted to tear apart Yi Qinfeng's soul and kill him. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1289. You're too naive. I've been waiting for this moment. Yi Qinfeng revealed a cold smile. The God-Eater brain appeared in his mind and turned into a black hole that devoured the Mirror Moon primogenitor soul. Universe Realm, take. After killing the Mirror Moon primogenitor soul, the Golden Battle God had become an ownerless item. Yi Qinfeng immediately put it into the Universe Realm and prepared to refine it in the future. The God-Eater brain was going to split into a child brain again. After devouring the Mirror Moon primogenitor soul, Yi Qinfeng unexpectedly discovered that the God-Eater brain had started to split into a child brain. He was pleasantly surprised by this. If the God-Eater brain split into another child brain, he could use this child brain to control a Nirvana realm expert. He could also use this child brain to control the Golden Battle God. He really killed the primogenitor. Feeling the Mirror Moon primogenitor's aura disappear, Yi Qinfeng took the Mirror Moon Sex number 1 divine item, the Golden Battle God. Jing Qian fell into a panic. As for the experts of the various factions who were watching from afar, they were also shocked by Yi Qinfeng's methods. They looked at him with reverence. Wait, stop fighting. With his last pillar of support destroyed, Jing Qian, who was riddled with wounds, was in despair. He hurriedly shouted, "Do you have any last words?" Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and stabilized his injuries. He stepped on the void and slowly walked over. He looked at Jing Qian, whose face was pale and whose eyes were twitching violently as he tried to suppress the fear in his heart, and asked in a low voice, My Mirror Moon sect admits defeat and is willing to submit to you. Please spare our lives." In the face of death, Jing Qian didn't care about his face and begged for mercy. "I can spare the lives of your Mirror Moon sect members, but I must take your life," Yi Qinfeng said mercilessly. He couldn't stay in the Thunder Dominion for too long. He couldn't leave behind such a large hidden danger for the Zhou family. You really want to kill me?" Jing Qian's expression changed. He glared at Yi Qinfeng with his blood-red eyes and roared, "You will die without a doubt." With that, Yi Qinfeng, the Chaos Divine Beast, the Sword Puppet, and the Marquis of Qianming attacked at the same time. "Yi Qinfeng, you will die a horrible death. Even if I become a ghost, I will not let you off." Jing Qian let out an angry roar and was about to explode all the Tao energy in his body to unleash his most fatal attack. However, the attacks of Yi Qinfeng and the other three were too terrifying. Before he could self-destruct, his body was shattered by Yi Qinfeng and the other three. His soul was destroyed, and not even his bones were left. He won. He really won. After witnessing the scene of Yi Qinfeng mercilessly killing Jing Qian, Nangongzheng gulped, and large amounts of sweat appeared on his forehead. His heart was filled with lingering fear. At this moment he was very glad. He was glad that he listened to Nangong Qingshue's words. If he stubbornly insisted on helping the Mirror Moon sect deal with Yi Qinfeng, he believed that with Yi Qinfeng's ruthless methods, he would end up the same as Jing Qian. Just as he was secretly rejoicing, he suddenly realized that Yi Qinfeng's cold eyes were looking at him, causing him to tremble in fear. "Patriarch Nangong, what else do you have to say now?" Yi Qinfeng, who was covered in blood, like a blood-soaked azura, slowly walked in front of Nangongzheng and asked in a low voice, "Young Master Yi, I agree to marry Qingxue to Zhou Tianyi." Although Yi Qinfeng looked like he was only a level 5 combat beast emperor, and Nangongzheng was a Nirvana almighty, and the patriarch of the Nangong family. After witnessing the scene just now, Nangong Zheng was really scared. He felt a huge amount of pressure when facing Yi Qinfeng, afraid that he would attack him. "Young Master Yi, aren't you going to ask me how I feel?" Nangong Qingxue, who was wearing light makeup, looked straight at Yi Qinfeng and said emotionlessly, "I am a person, not a bargaining chip for you." Staring at Nangong Qingxue's beautiful face, Yi Qinfeng's brows furrowed together, not knowing how to answer. When Nangong Zheng saw Yi Qinfeng's silent expression, his heart was in his throat. Yi Qinfeng dared to start a massacre in the Mirror Moon sect, so he wouldn't hesitate to kill him. "Miss Nangong, although I like you a lot, I won't force you to marry me." Zhou Tianyi took a deep breath, slowly walked over and said, "Since you don't like me, then I hope you can find true happiness." After speaking, Zhou Tianyi looked at the silent Yi Qinfeng and said, "Big brother, let's go." "Wait a minute." Hearing Zhou Tianyi's affectionate words, Nangong Qingxue's heart trembled. She looked at Zhou Tianyi's tall and straight body and suddenly shouted, "Miss Nangong, what else do you want?" Zhou Tianyi endured the sadness in his heart, turned around and asked softly, "Young Master Zhou, I indeed have complaints in my heart, but they are not directed at you. Today, you are willing to fight a life and death battle for me. I am truly moved. I wonder if you can make me change my feelings for you into feelings?" Nangong Qingxue smiled sweetly and said with a gentle voice, "Can Zhou Tianyi's dead eyes were filled with life. All the cells in his body became active at this moment and said, without hesitation, Nangong Qingxue Qinfeng's deep eyes emitted rays of light, deeply looked at Nangong Qingxue, who was like a cold and arrogant wintersweet. He revealed a faint smile and said, "You are a smart person, very good. Thank you, young Master Yi, for your praise. But compared to Yi Qinfeng, I am still too far behind." Nangong Qingxue said neither arrogantly nor humbly, "No, you are not inferior to anyone. If one day you can really walk together with Tianyi, I believe that one day you too will be able to stand at the top of the world hand in hand." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said expectantly, "Young Master Yi, today's battle has too great of an impact. Please forgive me for having to report the truth when I return." After the dust settled, Lei Zifin and Lei Zixin walked over. Lei Zifin adjusted his internal breath and said politely. Lei Zixin's beautiful big eyes kept sizing up Yi Qinfeng, as if she wanted to see through him. "Rest assured, young Master Lei, if there is a chance, I will personally go to the Thunder Clan and give you an explanation." Yi Qinfeng smiled and said softly, "Then us brother and sister will wait for young Master Ye's arrival in Holy Thunder City." Finished speaking, Lei Zifin and his sister, under the escort of several Thunder Clan experts, left the Mirror Moon sect that was filled with a thick smell of blood. After Lei Zifin and the others left, the experts from various major forces who came to congratulate the Mirror Moon sect also left one after another. However, there were still many people who had the courage to come up and exchange greetings, expressing their goodwill to Yi Qinfeng. As the people who supported Yi Qinfeng, Yin Ruoshi, Yin Juyao, and the others all revealed a smile, they knew that they had made the right bet. With Yi Qinfeng's current influence, he could definitely bring unimaginable benefits and returns to the Earth Yin sect. "Senior Yin, Sect Master Yin, thank you for helping Yi Qinfeng this time." Yi Qinfeng came to the side of the mature Yin Ruoshi and said, "At that time, I promised you that I would raise the Earth Yin sect's overall strength by a large margin in a short period of time. Now is the time to fulfill my promise." "Young Master Yi." Yin Ruoshi's charming eyes lit up with rays of light. "The Mirror Moon sect's treasure house is yours." Yi Qinfeng took away the relics of Jing Kehan and the others. He didn't want the Mirror Moon sect's treasure house anymore and gave them to the Earth Yin sect. "Really, thank you so much, young Master Yi." Yin Ruoshi glanced at the Mirror Moon sect experts, who were angry but didn't dare to speak. She smiled charmingly, The charm in her eyes seemed to want to melt Yi Qinfeng's bones. End of small talk, asking for red envelopes. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1290. The news of Yi Qinfeng destroying the Mirror Moon sect spread like wildfire through the entire Lightning Dominion, causing the entire Lightning Dominion to be shocked. As for Yi Qinfeng's methods, they became even more mysterious. Some people said that Yi Qinfeng was the reincarnation of an ancient expert and had the ability to overturn rivers and seas. Others said that Yi Qinfeng was a divine beast that had lived for who knew how many years and could swallow the Nirvana expert in one gulp. Even the Lightning Clan had to be wary of him. Just as Yi Qinfeng's fame was becoming more and more resounding, the entire Thunder Clan fell into a huge dispute over the matter of the Mirror Moon sect being destroyed. Clan head, this Yi Qinfeng is too arrogant. He openly destroyed the situation of our Thunder domain and started a massacre in the Mirror Moon sect. He does not place our Thunder Clan in his eyes at all. This person must be eliminated. The Thunder Clan's first elder, Lei Chen, said angrily with a sullen expression. The reason why Lei Chen hated Yi Qinfeng so much was because he had always wanted to become the Lightning Clan's clan leader. The Mirror Moon sect was one of his important hidden chess pieces. Now, this important hidden chess piece had been destroyed by Yi Qinfeng, which greatly reduced the power he controlled. That was why he wanted to eliminate Yi Qinfeng to vent his hatred. First Elder, this Yi Qinfeng is not an ordinary person. The power he controls is very terrifying. It is not a wise choice for us to rashly deal with him. After personally witnessing how terrifying Yi Qinfeng is, Lei Zifan was not willing for the Lightning Clan to have a direct conflict with Yi Qinfeng. Why? Do you think that my Thunder Clan will be afraid of a junior who is still wet behind the ears? Lei Chen sneered. With the Thunder Clan as his backing, he did not put Yi Qinfeng in his eyes at all. Great Elder, I did not say that the Thunder Clan would be afraid of Yi Qinfeng. I just feel that if we were to engage in a direct confrontation with him, it would only be bad for the Thunder Clan. Hearing the anger in Lei Chen's words, Lei Zifan was not angry. He said calmly, if we were to recklessly kill Yi Qinfeng, it is very likely that we would anger the power behind him. At that time, it is very likely that it would cause unnecessary trouble for the Thunder Clan. Then you mean to say that we should allow him to do as he pleases in my Lightning Dominion? Lawless said in a gloomy voice. That Yi Qinfeng said that he would come to my Lightning Clan to give us an explanation. Lei Zifan said. Humph, Lei Chen snorted coldly and said, aren't you a bit too naive? Regardless of whether the First Elder believes it or not, I believe that he will definitely come. Lei Zifan said indifferently. Okay, let's not talk about it anymore. Looking at the two people who were tit for tat, the Thunder Clan's patriarch Lei Zhongtong, who had been silent all this time, said, we will wait for him in Holy Thunder City for 3 months. If he does not come in 3 months, I will personally go to Izhou City to see him. Okay, at that time, I will accompany you, Patriarch. Lei Qin sneered in his heart. In his heart, he had already sentenced Yi Qinfeng to death. While the entire Thunder Dominion was talking about Yi Qinfeng, talking about how he had swept through the Mirror Moon sect, killed the Mirror Moon sect's primogenitor, and the Mirror's Flower, Water, Moon, and Jing Jinhan's deeds, Yi Qinfeng, who had returned to Izhou City, immediately went into seclusion in his room. Break. The power of the God-Eater brain erupted and blasted into the yin and yang rings, left behind by the Mirror Moon sect's primogenitor. It broke through the powerful restrictions and checked their belongings. This Mirror Moon sect was indeed the second most powerful sect in the Lightning Dominion. Its foundation was indeed extraordinary. Yi Qinfeng found that among the belongings of the Mirror Moon sect's primogenitor, there were large amounts of supreme grade soul crystals, Dao tools, Tao pills, heaven and earth spirit herbs, Tao arts and Tao techniques, and large amounts of hidden stones. However, Yi Qinfeng's standards were very high. Apart from the two quasi-sacred treasures, the void light mirror and the sky-breaking hammer, as well as the number one treasure of the Mirror Moon sect, the golden battle god, no other treasures could enter his eyes. However, the thousands of hidden stones of different sizes made him very interested. He controlled the God-Eater brain to force it into the hidden stones to check the treasures inside. The power of life. This hidden stone contains powerful life force. When the God-Eater brain rapidly deduced and checked more than 60 hidden stones, it felt a faint life force in an egg-sized hidden stone. Dragon Spine's sacred sword, break. Yi Qinfeng summoned the Dragon Spine's sacred sword and continuously attacked this extremely hard treasure-storing stone. After expending a tremendous amount of effort, he finally broke open the extremely hard stone shell of the treasure-storing stone and found an extremely precious longevity fruit inside. However, this longevity fruit had not fully matured, so the life force it contained was far inferior to the one Yi Qinfeng had obtained earlier. According to his estimation, this longevity fruit was at most equivalent to the 3 fruits of life that he had. It could only increase his lifespan by about 5,000 years. However, this did not affect the value of this longevity fruit. If this longevity fruit was spread to the outside world, there would definitely be people willing to exchange sacred elixirs for it. After cutting out a longevity fruit, Yi Qinfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to continue sensing the hidden stones one by one. Soon, he found a treasure that attracted him in another hidden stone. Supreme Force. How could there be supreme force in this hidden stone? With curiosity, Yi Qinfeng used all his strength to attack with the Dragon Spine's sacred sword and forcibly broke open the stone inscription. In this hidden stone, he found a dark gray fruit that looked like a walnut with a bumpy surface. Supreme Force Fruit. This was a Supreme Force Fruit. Staring at this dark gray fruit, the information of this fruit immediately appeared in the God-Eater brain. This fruit was a strange fruit that contained supreme force. It should have been extinct in the Duhan continent. With this supreme force fruit, Yi Qinfeng was confident that he could cultivate his supreme force body to the 2nd level. He could further enhance his physical strength and enhance his own strength. The hidden stones that were unique to the lightning territory were too magical. He had no idea how these stones were formed. There were actually so many extinct treasures in them. After storing the supreme force fruit in a jade box that was filled with spirituality, Yi Qinfeng continued to control the God-Eater brain to sense the hidden stones one by one. Soon, a few hours passed. Yi Qinfeng used the God-Eater brain's heaven-defying ability to sense the thousands of hidden stones. He obtained a total of more than 20 valuable natural wonders. After sealing these natural wonders in the jade box, Yi Qinfeng first dripped his blood on the golden battle god to claim ownership of it. He found out that it was a clone of a low-grade sage artifact. Its attack power was close to the level of a Nirvana heavenly realm expert. After absorbing the golden battle god into his body and refining it, Yi Qinfeng took out the supreme force fruit and swallowed it. He circulated the 9 transformations divine change and forcefully refined the supreme force contained in the supreme force fruit into the Yongquan acupoint at the bottom of his feet. He then transformed the true spirit pearl in the Yongquan acupoint. In the beginning, he had refined many body-tempering spiritual items. The true spirit pearl in the Yongquan acupoint had already begun to transform. Now that he had refined the supreme force fruit, the transformation speed of the true spirit pearl was even faster. After nearly 20 days of refinement, the true spirit pearl in the Yongquan acupoint had finally completed its final transformation. It had transformed into a supreme force pearl. After cultivating to the 2nd level of the supreme force body, Yi Qinfeng's physical defense didn't increase significantly. However, his physical strength had increased by 20 million pounds. After the amplification of the God-Fiend bloodline, it had almost reached 250 million pounds of strength. He could severely injure Nirvana experts with one punch. Not long after Yi Qinfeng broke through to the second level of the Supreme Force body, the God-Eater brain had completely refined the Mirror Moon ancestor's soul and bred a brand new soul Eater child brain. Suddenly, the communication disc in his arms lit up. The Black Lightning King had finished dealing with important matters and contacted Yi Qinfeng. In the communication with the Black Lightning King, Yi Qinfeng didn't hide the fact that he had defeated the Mirror Moon sect and killed Jing Qian and the others. To Yi Qinfeng's surprise, the Black Lightning King didn't blame Yi Qinfeng. Instead, he asked him for a very important matter. "Senior, you're making things difficult for me." After ending the communication with the Black Lightning King, Yi Qinfeng shook his head and smiled bitterly. He took out his communication bead and contacted Yin Ruashi. He asked her to go to the Mirror Moon sect and the Nangong family to get some important things for him. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1291. Young Master Yi, these are the things you need. I've brought them for you. Yin Ruashi, who was wearing a tight black dress and had a voluptuous figure, came to Yi Qinfeng's western courtyard and handed him a spatial ring. Thank you for your trouble. Yi Qinfeng released his soul power into the spatial ring and found several memory stones and soul jade slips. When he released his soul power into the memory stones and soul jade slips, he revealed a satisfied smile. Young Master Yi, are you really going to deal with the Thunder Clan? Thinking about the items in the spatial ring, Yin Ruashi asked worriedly. The Thunder Clan was different from the Mirror Moon sect. The Thunder Clan was the absolute overlord of the Thunder Dominion. They even had a Nirvana realm expert. Even the 3 divine kingdoms weren't willing to have a direct conflict with the Thunder Clan. Don't worry, I won't mess around. Yi Qinfeng smiled. 2 days later, a luxurious spirit boat left Izhou City, heading towards the source of the Thunder Territory spirit veins, the most famous city in the Thunder Territory, Holy Thunder City. The Thunder Dominion was extremely vast, and Zhou Memory City was relatively remote. With the speed of the spirit boat, it took 2 days and 2 nights to reach the territory of Saint Thunder City. At this time, the sky was getting dark and the sun was setting in the west. Yi Qinfeng kept the spirit boat and walked with the spirit fish to a picturesque town built in a canyon not far from Saint Thunder City. They planned to stay for the night and enter Saint Thunder City the next morning. Big Brother Qingfeng, this clear gorge town is so beautiful. Walking into the ancient town built in the canyon, the spirit fish immediately fell in love with this place. Its beautiful eyes curved into crescent moons. After walking around for a while, Yi Qinfeng and Lingyu arrived at a quiet inn built in the middle of a garden with a flowing stream. They prepared to settle down for a rest. I'm sorry, but our inn has been booked by young Master Dongfang. If you want to stay, please look elsewhere. At this time, a beautiful young woman with a graceful figure and heavy makeup exuding a strong fragrance walked out of the inn and said apologetically, "Let's go, spirit fish." Yi Qinfeng wasn't an unreasonable person. He didn't insist and left with the spirit fish. Hold on, suddenly a low voice sounded. A man with a slightly pale face, wearing a gorgeous long robe, a crown on his head, and a pair of python-scale boots, walked down the wooden stairs with a petite woman in a tulle short skirt. Her breasts were about to burst out of her chest. When he saw the spirit fish wearing a floral dress, with a pair of big watery eyes embedded in her fair little face and delicate pink cheeks, as if water could be squeezed out with a pinch, his eyes immediately lit up. Have something to do? Qinfeng frowned slightly as he looked the man in a luxurious robe who was staring at the spiritual fish with a fiery gaze. I am Dongfang Zhua, the second young master of the Holy Thunder City's Dongfang clan. May I know if it is possible for me to get acquainted with this young lady? The well-dressed man let go of the delicate and pretty girl in his embrace. He slowly walked over and spoke in an arrogant manner. No, the spirit fish shook its head and refused. Ha ha! Gunyang is indeed a forthright person. Dongfang Zhuo laughed aloud and said, how should I put it? Meeting his fate. I feel that Gunyang and I feel like old friends at first sight. We will definitely become friends. Are you crazy? Who has fate with you? The spirit fish rolled its eyes at him and said rudely. A white-haired, level 6 combat beast emperor elder behind the man in a luxurious robe shouted, little girl, there are some people you can't afford to offend. You'd better not find trouble for yourself. Elder Ting, the ignorant are not guilty. Don't scare the man in a luxurious robe. The corner of his eyes twitched as he spoke in a seemingly magnanimous manner. Are you trying to hit on me? The spirit fish's eyes flashed a trace of craftiness. She looked at the man in a luxurious robe and suddenly said, The man in a luxurious robe was startled. He didn't expect the spirit fish to be so direct. The delicate and pretty girl standing beside him revealed an angry expression and looked at the spirit fish with hostility. It's fine if you don't dare to admit it. The spirit fish curled her lips and said, Coward. Gunyang, I admit that I fell in love with you at first sight. I like you very much. The man in a luxurious robe revealed a smile that he thought was very handsome. He hurriedly said, I feel that such a beautiful girl like you. Only I can match up to you. The spirit fish let out a series of crisp laughter, her plump breasts moving up and down. The man in a luxurious robe's eyeballs almost fell out. Sigh. Looking at the spirit fish's childlike innocence, Yi Chen Feng shook his head. With his understanding of the spirit fish, he knew that the man in a luxurious robe was going to suffer. Come here. Let me have a good look at you. The spirit fish hooked her finger and said in a coquettish voice. When the man in a luxurious robe narrowed his eyes and moved his face closer, the spirit fish suddenly changed her expression. She raised her chubby little hand and slapped the man in a luxurious robe's cheek. I'll kill you, you pervert. Second young master. The white-haired old man's expression changed when he saw the man in luxurious robes being sent flying by the spiritual fish and smashing several wooden tables. He immediately appeared beside him and helped the man up. His cheeks were caved in and blood was flowing out of his mouth. The delicate and pretty girl was even more frightened by the scene in front of her. She screamed, Damn it, Stinky, how dare you hit me? The man in a luxurious robe spat out 2 broken teeth, stained with blood. He glared at the spirit fish with his blood-red eyes and roared angrily, Elder Ting, catch her for me. Tonight I'll kill her. You bunch of trash. The spiritual fish looked contemptuously at the white-haired old man who was filled with murderous intent. Stepping on the 8 divine ape shadows, the spiritual fish turned into a blur and punched the old man's chest. Feeling the power of the spirit fish's punch, the white-haired old man's expression changed. He immediately overlapped his hands in front of him and gathered the thunder Tao diagram in his palms to block the spirit fish's punch. Boom! After receiving the spirit fish's punch, the thunder Tao diagram that the white-haired old man condensed was immediately broken. The power of more than 100 million pounds was like a boiling tide, breaking his arms. The punch sent him flying and smashing into a jade wall dozens of meters away. He fell to the ground and lost his ability to fight. Goo! The man in a luxurious robe did not expect the spirit fish to be so powerful that the white-haired old man, who was a level 6 combat beast emperor, could not block her punch. He could not help but gulp. Hearing the loud noise from the front hall of the inn, many experts of the Dongfang clan appeared. However, before they could attack, Yi Chen Feng appeared in front of them and threw them out of the inn one by one like throwing chickens. You better not mess around. I am the second young master of the Dongfang clan. If you hurt me, I promise you that you will die without a burial place. The man in a luxurious robe was scared when he saw the spirit fish walking towards him slowly. He had no choice but to use his identity and background to pressure the spirit fish. What is the Dongfang clan? I have never heard of it. After saying that, the spirit fish waved her small fists and started beating the man in a luxurious robe. Soon he was lying on the ground, crying for his father and mother. Miss, I was wrong. I beg you to spare me. I will never dare to provoke you again. The man in a luxurious robe curled up and covered his head with his hands as he begged for mercy. All right, spirit fish, let's go. Yi Qinfeng looked at the man in a luxurious robe who was groaning in pain with a bruised nose and a swollen face. What a trash. The spirit fish snorted softly and kicked him away. Under the gazes of many people, she left with Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1292. Let's go and find another place to stay. Yi Qinfeng had learned about the situation in Holy Thunder City from Yin Ruashi. He knew that there were 4 big families in Holy Thunder City apart from the Thunder Clan. The Dongfang family was one of the 4 big families in Holy Thunder City. Their overall strength ranked second among the 4 big families, second only to the Zhao family, which had 2 old ancestors from Nirvana. Although they had just had a conflict with the Dongfang family, Yi Qinfeng did not take them seriously. He left the messy inn with Lingyu and looked for a place to stay. Well, the treasure building. As they walked, Yi Qinfeng found an inconspicuous treasure building shrouded in a powerful restriction formation. In the treasure building, Yi Qinfeng's powerful soul sensed the aura of the treasure stone. Thinking about the miraculous effects of the treasure stone, Yi Qinfeng held onto the spirit fish's small, white hand and walked into the treasure building. He saw that in a wooden cabinet made of ancient wood, there were dozens of treasure stones of different sizes. A charming woman wearing a tight black miniskirt that outlined her exquisite figure, with the hem of the skirt just covering her thighs, wrapped around her round buttocks and exposed her snow-white chest. She wore a huge ruby and had light makeup on her face, was choosing the treasure stones. When Yi Qinfeng saw her, his pupils contracted unconsciously. He felt a strong sense of danger from her hot body. Glancing at the charming woman who was extremely dangerous, Yi Qinfeng looked at the hundreds of treasure stones and controlled the God-Eater brain to sense the treasures in the stones. Boss, how much is this treasure stone? With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Qinfeng locked on to a fist-sized treasure stone that was full of bumps and corners. 10 million upper-grade soul crystals. The white-haired old man who gave off a shrewd vibe slowly said, "Okay, I'll buy this treasure stone." Without any hesitation, Yi Qinfeng took out a universe ring with 10 million upper-grade soul crystals and handed it to the old man. He bought the treasure stone and was about to leave. The charming woman raised her head to look at Yi Qinfeng and suddenly called out to him, "Is something the matter?" Yi Qinfeng asked softly, his expression unchanged. "I really like that storage stone you just bought. I'll give you 11 million high-grade soul crystals. Give it to me." The charming woman looked at Yi Qinfeng's handsome face and said in a commanding tone, "Sorry, I'm not selling." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and directly refused. With that, Yi Qinfeng left with the spirit fish without any hesitation. Looking at the back view of Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish, the charming woman's eyes turned cold. A trace of killing intent flashed across her eyes. "Brother Qinfeng, what is so special about this stone?" Walking out of the treasure pavilion, the spirit fish blinked its beautiful eyes and asked curiously, "If I'm not wrong, this stone contains life." Yi Qinfeng transmitted his voice. Life was the rarest thing in the fighting soul continent. However, he was able to find life in the storage stone, which made him very interested in it. If it's a life item, then we've struck gold. The spirit fish's beautiful eyes sparkled. Indeed, we've struck gold. Yi Qin-feng nodded his head. After leaving the treasure pavilion, Yi Qin-feng and the spirit fish found a relatively quiet inn to rest. After settling down, Yi Qin-feng set up a soundproof restriction in the room. Holding the dragon's spine sacred sword, he forcefully broke open the hard surface of the storage stone and found 3 blood-red drops of life essence in the stone. Life essence. Each drop could increase one's lifespan by 5,000 years. Yi Qin-feng used the God-Eater brain to sense for a while and confirmed that each drop of life essence could increase one's lifespan by 5,000 years. The value of each drop was no less than a divine elixir pill. My feeling was right. This treasure-storing stone is definitely hiding something good. Suddenly, a strange sound rang out, and a gap appeared in the soundproof restriction in the room. That sexy and alluring woman appeared in Yi Qin-feng's room out of nowhere. "You still came," Yi Qin-feng said calmly as he stored the 3 drops of life-spirit liquid into the universe mirror. Then he looked at the beautiful woman with snow-white skin. "Why, did you expect me to come?" The charming woman's blood-red lips curled up slightly, revealing a smile. "Although you tried to hide it, you still couldn't hide your murderous aura. This is enough to prove that you're a person who kills people, like scything flax. People like you usually ignore restrictions and won't give up until they reach their goal." Yi Qin-feng looked at her calmly as he analyzed the situation. "Ha ha ha, then are you afraid of me?" The charming woman suddenly burst into a smile that was even more flirtatious than a flower. Her towering breasts also moved up and down with her laughter. "What do you think?" Yi Qin-feng asked with a calm expression, smiling faintly. "Interesting. You're really interesting," the charming woman said playfully. "Now I can't bear to kill you." "You can't kill me." Yi Qin-feng shook his head and said with an unquestionable tone. "Really? Then I'd like to try." The charming woman's charming eyes revealed a strong murderous aura. An extremely cold force locked onto Yi Qin-feng like a poisonous snake. "Brother Qin-feng, what happened?" Just as the battle was about to start, the spiritual fish sensed the abnormality and rushed in. When she saw the charming woman full of murderous aura, a terrifying power erupted from her petite body. "Brother Qin-feng. Hearing the way the spirit fish addressed Yi Qin-feng, looking at his young and handsome face, as well as his calm demeanor in the face of chaos, the charming woman suddenly thought of the most popular person in the lightning region recently. "You're Yi Qin-feng." The charming woman looked at Yi Qin-feng and guessed his identity. "It's me." Yi Qin-feng nodded. "I didn't expect us to meet in this way." After confirming Yi Qin-feng's identity, the charming woman frowned slightly, but there was no fear on her face. "You are." Looking at the unfamiliar charming woman, Yi Qin-feng asked in a low voice. The heartbroken and charming woman introduced herself. Great ferocious heartbroken Yi Qin-feng was slightly surprised. He didn't expect that one of the Thunderfield's 3 ferocious heartbroken was actually a woman. Moreover, it was a charming young woman. "Forget it. Today I'll give you face and won't take the treasure you cut out from the storage stone. But you have to help me pick one." Great ferocious heartbroken smiled enchantingly. "Okay, deal." Yi Qin-feng nodded and said, "Tomorrow morning I'll help you pick one." "Yi Qin-feng, the night is long. I don't know if you're lonely. Do you want Big Sister to stay with you?" Heartbroken used her slender fingers to fiddle with her long hair and said seductively, "No need. I don't want to be killed in my sleep." Although Heartbroken was very charming, Yi Qin-feng knew that she was a beautiful snake that ate people without spitting out the bones. He shook his head and refused. "You really don't want to think about it? Big Sister is very gentle." Heartbroken showed a charming smile and said seductively, "Get out." Before Yi Qin-feng could say anything, the spirit fish couldn't stand it anymore. She stared at him with her beautiful big eyes and said with hostility, "So you like this kind of girl?" Heartbroken, looked at the chubby and cute face of the spirit fish and said with a smile. After saying that, Duan-Chang glanced at the angry and blushing Lingyu. He left behind a charming smile and turned to leave. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you can see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1293. Early in the morning, everything came back to life, and the morning sun shone on the earth. Yi Qinfeng and Ling Yu walked out of the inn in high spirits. They saw Heartbroken Intestine, who was wearing a black qipao and had a graceful figure, waiting outside the inn. If you can help me pick a valuable hidden stone, I will owe you a favor and repay you in the future. Heartbroken Intestine fiddled with her long hair and walked over slowly. Her seductive voice made one's imagination run wild. Why do you trust me so much? Yi Qinfeng asked softly as he looked at Heartbroken Intestine's charming face. I believe that Heartbroken Intestine won't misjudge you, she said with a smile. Let's go to the treasure pavilion and pick a hidden stone for you. Then we will go our separate ways. Yi Qinfeng said with a calm expression as he slowly walked towards the treasure pavilion. On the way to the treasure pavilion, Yi Qinfeng noticed that someone was secretly following him. However, he did not care. After arriving at the treasure pavilion, he picked out an egg-sized, glossy, dark brown treasure stone for Duan-Chang among the hundreds of treasure stones of various shapes. Heartbroken Intestine trusted Yi Qinfeng very much. She paid 10 million high-grade soul crystals to buy this hidden stone. When they left the treasure pavilion, they found that it was blocked by dozens of powerful and ferocious men. They are here for you. Heartbroken Intestine turned to look at Yi Qinfeng, who had a calm expression. Her red lips curled up slightly as she asked with a faint smile. I think so. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said calmly. Do you want me to help you? Heartbroken asked. No need. I can solve this small problem myself. Although there were 2 Nirvana Realm Almighties among the dozens of murderous experts, Yi Qinfeng could crush the Nirvana Realm Almighties with just his physical body after cultivating his aura body to the 2nd level. Not to mention that he still had the sword Spirit Puppet and the Golden Battle God that was being constantly refined. Since you don't want me to help you, I will help you. Heartbroken Intestine said seductively. Her every frown and smile was captivating. Do you still want to run after offending my Dongfang family? A Nirvana Realm Mortal Realm expert, with a square face and an obvious scar at the corner of his eye, glared at Yi Qinfeng and Ling Yu, who were standing outside the treasure pavilion, and said in a cold voice, Why should we run? Yi Qinfeng asked coldly as he looked at the experts of the Dongfang clan. A bunch of ants, no need to talk nonsense. With that, a powerful aura emanated from Heartbreak's body. This aura was so strong that it was comparable to the Mirror Moon Sect's Grand Elder Mirror Flower Sage. It was even stronger than the insect demon that Yi Qinfeng had killed. Miss, this is the enmity between my Dongfang clan and them. Please don't interfere. Sensing the aura emitted from Duan-Chang's body, the Dongfang clan's expert felt a sense of suffocation. His heart trembled as he hurriedly spoke. What is the Dongfang family? Duan-Chang said contemptuously. He held a pair of quasi-holy treasure full moon scimitars and attacked dozens of masters of the Dongfang family with strong killing intent. Chi, chi, chi suddenly. Blood splattered everywhere and screams filled the sky. Under the attack of Duan-Chang's full moon scimitars, the line of defense of dozens of masters of the Dongfang family was forcibly torn apart. Duan-Chang was like a grim reaper with a scythe, constantly reaping the lives of the masters of the Dongfang family. And the people that Duan-Chang killed were all cut into pieces by the full moon scimitars. Their internal organs flowed all over the ground, making people shudder. You are the great evil Duan-Chang. Just now, the 2 Nirvana mighty figures of the Dongfang family felt that Duan Chang looked familiar, but they didn't think too much about it. But after seeing Duan Chang's iconic full moon scimitars and ruthless means, they finally guessed the identity of this demoness in front of them. They were instantly scared silly. "Dead. People don't need to know who I am," Duan Chang said heartlessly. His plump body spun in a circle on the spot that was covered in blood, and immediately split into dozens of incomparably sharp blade lights. Like wind blades, they attacked the experts of the Dongfang clan, who were dodging in panic. In the blink of an eye, the dozens of masters of the Dongfang family who came to kill Yi Qinfeng and Ling Yu were only left with 2 wounded Nirvana mighty figures who were covered in blood. The others were all dismembered and fell in a pool of blood. They couldn't be more dead. "Senior Duan Chang, we didn't mean to offend you. Please spare our lives for the sake of the Dongfang family." The masters they brought were turned into dismembered corpses in the blink of an eye. The 2 Nirvana mighty figures were completely scared silly. Facing the great evil Duan Chang, they couldn't be tough and kept begging for mercy. "You don't deserve to be spared," Duan Chang said coldly and mercilessly. He suddenly tossed out 2 full moon scimitars. They were like 2 strange stars as they tore apart the hard space and attacked the 2 Nirvana realm experts that were heavily injured. What a terrifying attack! The moment Duan Chang threw out the 2 full moon scimitars, Yi Qinfeng's eyes revealed a strange color. He had a feeling that if he faced Duan Chang head-on, with his strength and defense, he wouldn't be able to withstand this attack. Boom, boom, like a hot knife through butter, the full moon scimitar directly broke through their defenses and blasted their bodies, directly turning the 2 Nirvana realm almighties into 2 clouds of blood mist, which then spread out in the chaotic void. Like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves, Duan Chang used a demonic art that was like a black hole, crazily devouring the drifting death chi and blood chi in the air and fusing them into her body. The next moment, 3 faintly discernible halos full of death chi appeared behind Duan Chang. As the death chi and blood chi fused, the 3 halos became more and more powerful. Duan Chang wasn't simple. In terms of strength, the insect demon was far inferior. Perhaps even the moonlit reflection wouldn't be able to defeat her. Seeing that Duan Chang cultivated a demonic art similar to the 8 Shaojura art, Yi Qinfeng had a new understanding of her strength. However, Yi Qinfeng had obtained the low-grade holy artifact, Golden Battle God, from the Mirror Moon sect. Coupled with the indestructible sword puppet, Duan Chang couldn't threaten his life. "Ling Yu, let's go." Yi Qinfeng didn't have any friendship with Duan Chang. Moreover, he had some misgivings about Duan Chang. While Duan Chang was devouring the death chi and blood chi to cultivate, he took Ling Yu and left Clear Gorge Town. "Yi Qinfeng, we will meet again." Sensing Yi Qinfeng's departure, Duan Chang, who was crazily devouring the death chi and blood chi, opened her eyes and glanced at Yi Qinfeng's back. She muttered to herself and closed her eyes again. Ignoring the fearful gazes around her, she continued to cultivate her demonic art. Holy Thunder City, Dongfang family's old residence. Everyone who went to Clear Gorge Town died. Knowing that the masters who intercepted Yi Qinfeng's Ling Yu were all annihilated, Dongfang Bukong, the head of the Dongfang family and Nirvana's Dongfang Bukong, widened his eyes in shock. "Who are those 2 people?" Dongfang Bukong asked with a serious face. To be able to kill dozens of masters, including 2 Nirvana masters, in one breath, they were definitely ruthless characters. 3rd Elder and 4th Elder were not killed by those 2 people, but by the great evil Duan Chang. Dongfang family's informant reported. Great evil Duan Chang. Could it be that those 2 people were related to Duan Chang? Dongfang Bukong's eyes revealed deep misgivings. Although the Dongfang family's strength was extraordinary and ranked 2nd among the 4 major families of Holy Thunder City, if they offended Duan Chang, it would definitely bring about a devastating disaster. "All right, I know about this matter. You can leave now." Dongfang Bukong took a deep breath and said, "Remember, order people to block all news. Don't let anyone know what happened in Clear Gorge Town." Also, pass down my order. For a period of time, Dongfang family disciples are not allowed to leave Holy Thunder City at will. Yes, master. Dongfang family's informant obeyed. Not long after the informant left, he turned back and reported, "Family head, we have the latest news. Duan Chong has already left, and the 2 people who injured the second young master have appeared outside the Holy Thunder City. According to our people's guess, they might not be familiar with Duan Chong. Duan Chang's killing spree may just be a coincidence." Coincidence? Dongfang Bukong's eyes twitched and said, "Whether it is a coincidence or not, these 2 people dare to step into Holy Thunder City at this time. I will let them die without a burial place." Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the save at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1294. Holy Thunder City, the city at the center of the lightning region. It was located at the source of the lightning region's spirit veins and was the most famous city in the lightning region. What a magnificent city! Yi Chin Fong and the spiritual fish flew for more than 2 hours. A huge city that covered an area of God knows how many miles, with tall and majestic city gates, towering pavilions and palaces in the city, surrounded by green mountains and a lake, came into their view. Yi Chinfeng had only seen one city of such a scale that encompassed everything. That was the Fire God City, controlled by the Heavenly Hall. What is that? When Yi Chinfeng arrived at the impregnable gates of Holy Thunder City, which were flickering with lightning, Yi Chinfeng saw a huge light wall that was almost the same size as Holy Thunder City, standing outside the city. And on this wall of light, there were densely packed names. Some of these names were high, some are low, some are deep, and some are shallow. There were even some names that had been eroded by the passage of time and were already blurred. However, at the highest point of the wall of light, there was a vigorous and powerful name that could be clearly seen, as if it was a king. Lei Zifin, this wall of light, should be the same as the Xingluo heavenly wall, where one's name was left on it based on strength. The higher one's strength was, the higher the name would be, and the clearer the name would be. Seeing Lei Zifin, Lei Zixin, and the others' names on the wall of light, Yi Chinfeng muttered to himself. However, as his strength increased, he was no longer interested in leaving his name. He had no intention of making a move. Instead, the Ling Yu's beautiful eyes were filled with interest, eager to give it a try. "Anji, should we have a competition to see who can leave their name higher and clearer on the Holy Cliff? A tall and straight level 5 combat beast emperor, wearing a blue robe with long hair draped over his shoulders, glanced at the Saint Wall Cliff and said to an ordinary-looking level 5 combat beast emperor beside him. Her skin was very white, her legs were long and powerful, and her body emitted a sharp sword intent. She was also a level 5 combat beast emperor. "Let's compete then." The woman named Anji nodded. Her tall and slender body suddenly burst forth with a thick sword intent. Her entire person was like an unsheathed sword, piercing through the layers of air as she flew at an extremely fast speed towards the Holy Cliff. In the next moment, Anji's hands were like swords as they pointed towards the empty space on the cliff, and they forcefully pierced into the extremely hard cliff that was filled with powerful Tao insight as she carved her name. When Anji carved her name at the 60-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff, the blue-robed man also carved his name at the 60-foot mark. But his handwriting wasn't as clear as Anji's. Impressive! The 2 of them are only level 5 beast emperors, but they were able to carve their names 6 zhang away from the Holy Wall Cliff. Furthermore, the handwriting is so clear. I think they must be some big family's genius disciples who came out to gain experience. That's right. Just now, there was a level 6 beast emperor expert who only managed to carve his name at the 50-foot mark of the Holy Wall Cliff. Compared to the 2 of them, be it in terms of strength or talent, the gap between them is just too big. While the crowd surrounding the holy wall cliff was discussing, a man who was not tall but had an unusually burly body, dark skin, bright eyebrows, and big eyes, who was at the peak of level 5 Beast Emperor realm, suddenly stomped on the ground. A loud, muffled sound of thunder could be heard from the soles of his feet as he soared into the sky and rushed towards the top of the holy wall cliff. 5 zhang, 6 zhang, 7 zhang. When he was about to reach the 80-foot mark, he was somewhat unable to withstand the pressure from the holy wall cliff. He took a deep breath as the Tao diagram of thunder and the Tao diagram of darkness appeared behind him. He stretched out his finger that was filled with Tao insight and power and forcefully carved his name on the holy wall cliff. Every time the holy wall cliff was 10 feet higher, the difficulty of carving one's name would increase exponentially. However, this man was extremely talented and had extraordinary strength. Using the power of the 2 Tao diagrams, he still managed to carve his name at the 80-foot mark of the holy wall cliff. However, the handwriting was a little shallow. Heavens, to leave one's name at the 80-foot mark of the Demi-Saint cliff. It had been a long time since such a shocking genius had appeared. To be able to leave his name at the 80-foot mark of the holy wall cliff as a level 5 Beast Emperor, this person would definitely be able to cultivate to the Nirvana realm in the future. There was even a possibility that he would become a Nirvana realm expert. Looking at the man whose dark face revealed a touch of paleness, almost everyone's gaze was attracted to him. Humph! What's so surprising about this height? While many people were exclaiming in surprise, the Ling Yu curled her lips and said indifferently, "Little girl, you might not know the difficulty of leaving your name at the holy wall cliff." A slightly plump woman wearing an aqua blue martial arts suit with many crow's feet at the corner of her eyes looked at the cute little face of the Ling Yu and said, "The holy wall cliff is a mysterious Gu Dao treasure. It is incomparably hard and contains a powerful Dao insight. Those who can leave their name on it are all dragons and phoenixes among men. And that young master just now was able to leave his name at the 80-foot mark of the holy wall cliff. It is enough to show that he is a genius among geniuses. His future achievements are limitless. AI, geniuses these days are really worthless." The Ling Yu sighed softly. "Little girl, hearing your tone, do you want to try the difficulty of leaving your name at the holy wall cliff? With your age, if you can leave your name at the 30-foot mark, I will be convinced." Hearing the arrogant tone of the Ling Yu, a middle-aged man shook his head and said, "Brother Chengfeng, do you want to give it a try?" The interest in the Ling Yu's eyes became stronger as she looked at the silent Yi Chenfeng and asked, "I am not interested in leaving my name at the holy wall cliff." Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said, "If you are interested, then give it a try." "Fine, then I will try." The Ling Yu revealed a pair of cute canine teeth and looked at the 30-foot high holy wall cliff that was filled with a powerful Dao insight. She said, "I think the position next to Lei Zifan is not bad. I will leave my name next to him. Moreover, I will leave my name deeper than him." Hearing the Ling Yu's words, many people revealed a mocking smile. Some people even laughed out loud, mocking the Ling Yu's ignorance and fearlessness. As for the tall and sturdy man who had just left his name at the 80-foot mark of the holy wall cliff, he revealed a look of contempt. If the Ling Yu wasn't so cute, he wouldn't have been able to stop himself from mocking her. It had to be known that 5 years ago, when Lei Zifan had left his name at the highest point of the holy wall cliff, many geniuses had challenged his record. Apart from 2 people who had succeeded, the others had all failed. As for the 2 people who had left their names at the highest point of the holy wall cliff, they had persisted for 3 days and 8 days before gradually disappearing. Thus, no one present believed that the cute and delicate Ling Yu, who was like a little princess, would be able to leave her name at the highest point of the holy wall cliff and leave her name deeper than Lei Zifan's. "Brother Chingfeng, I will go carve my name." After saying that, the Ling Yu flew towards the holy wall cliff. Resisting the increasingly powerful Dao insight pressure, she flew towards the peak of the holy wall cliff. Hiss! When the Ling Yu flew to the 50-foot mark of the holy wall cliff like a hot knife through butter, A series of gasps resounded from the bottom of the holy wall cliff. At this time, the Ling Yu's body slightly trembled. She ignited her divine ape bloodline, and a phantom of a divine ape appeared behind her to increase her strength. She continued to fly towards the top of the holy wall cliff. Heavens, am I dreaming? That little girl is only 90 feet away from the holy wall cliff. How can her strength be so strong? I actually misjudged her. That little girl is a monster. Just when everyone was stunned by the scene before them, the Ling Yu that had stopped at the 90-foot mark of the holy wall cliff ignited her true god bloodline and tore through the terrifying pressure to arrive at the top of the holy wall cliff. In the next moment, a scene that stunned everyone appeared. The Ling Yu extended her chubby little hand and carved 3 words beside Lei Zifen's name. These 3 words were just like what she had said at the beginning. They were even deeper and clearer than Lei Zifen's name. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom of the page to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1295. Little cutie looking at the name carved by the spirit fish, the crowd was petrified. Other than being shocked, they were also speechless. All right, have you played enough? Let's go into the city. Yi Qinfeng said softly as he looked at the smiling Ling Yu with her tender cheeks. Play. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's words, the crowd was even more speechless. The sacred name, carved on the cliff, was like child's play in Yi Qinfeng's eyes. Well, let's go into the city. Let's hope there is something fun in the city. The spirit fish nodded and followed Yi Qinfeng through the passageway that was automatically opened up by the crowd. They walked towards the bustling Holy Thunder City. So beautiful! This Holy Thunder City is so beautiful! Walking into Holy Thunder City, the spirit fish immediately fell in love with this place. She clamored for Yi Qinfeng to bring her to try the food here. Spirit fish, the food might have to wait. When Yi Qinfeng saw the 2 white-haired old men wearing black robes slowly walking towards them, his pupils constricted as he spoke in a low voice. Damn it! How dare they ruin my mood? I won't forgive them. The spirit fish also noticed the abnormality. Grinding her teeth, she clenched her fists and said angrily, Wait, don't fight first. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said calmly, Let's see what they want. All right then. The spirit fish said angrily and followed Yi Qinfeng. The 2 of you, our Dongfang family head, invites the 2 of you to come with us. A stout old man with a stern expression blocked Yi Qinfeng's group with his tall and sturdy body. Then he spoke in a hoarse voice, using a commanding tone. Let's go. Yi Qinfeng looked at the 2 Nirvana experts and said lightly. They were surprisingly cooperative. Looking at Yi Qinfeng's calm expression, the 2 old men frowned and secretly sized up Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish. However, feeling the strength of Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish, they were relieved. One on the left and one on the right, they sealed off all possible escape routes and led them to the Dongfang family's old mansion. Your Dongfang clan really knows how to choose a place. The old house occupies the source of a spirit vein in Holy Thunder City. From afar, Yi Qinfeng looked at the Dongfang clan's old mansion that was shrouded in a light array and filled with spirit energy. It occupied an area of dozens of miles and had lofty pavilions. Of course, the strength of our Dongfang clan is not something you can imagine, the 2 old men said with proud smiles on their faces. Is that so? Then let us see the true strength of your Dongfang family. I hope you don't disappoint me. Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly as he held onto the spirit fish's soft and smooth hand. Following a straight line of land, he walked towards the Dongfang family's old mansion with a calm expression. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's arrogant words, the 2 old men knitted their brows tightly together. They felt an inexplicable sense of uneasiness in their hearts and secretly became vigilant. Walking into the Dongfang clan's old residence, Yi Qinfeng immediately felt that the array formation enveloping the old residence had been activated. The entire Dongfang clan had become impregnable. However, he didn't care. The God-Eater brain quickly deduced and released a powerful soul force into the clan guarding Grand Array to deduce the real situation of this Grand Array. Patriarch, we've brought the two of them here. Walking into the main hall, Yi Qinfeng saw the black-robed Dongfang Bukong sitting in the main seat with a dense aura. He was looking at them with a cold gaze. On his left stood a bruised and battered man. This man was the one who had been taught a lesson by the spirit fish and had suffered a great loss. He was Dongfang Zhua, who had been beaten half to death. Where are the two of you from? Why did you bully my son and injure my Dongfang clan's disciples? Looking at the arrogant and calm Yi Qinfeng, Nangong Bukong frowned slightly. He wanted to figure out their identities before making a move. We don't have any sect or background, Yi Qinfeng said with his hands behind his back. Then you've cut ties with Great Xiong. Don't worry, we've only known her for a day. There's no friendship between us. Yi Qinfeng interrupted Nangong Bukong and slowly said, Who the hell are you? Looking at the indifferent and calm Yi Qinfeng, Dongfang Bukong smelled something unusual. Yi Qinfeng's performance was too calm, and the arrogance in his eyes showed that he didn't put him in his eyes at all. If I say I'm someone you can't afford to offend, would you believe me? Yi Qinfeng said with a smile, Damn it, you're about to die, and you still dare to be so stubborn. Lousy will skin you alive today. Dongfang Zhua stared at the fearless Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish with fire in his eyes. He gritted his teeth and roared, Two elders, break their legs for me. Make them kneel and talk to me. Yes, second young master. The two elders who escorted Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish here obeyed. The Tao power in their bodies burst out. One of them held a dark gold rod, the other held a snake-headed spear. They attacked Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish from left and right, wanting to break their legs. Scram! The bloodline of the godly ape within Ling Yu's body was ignited. She stomped on the hard ground with one foot and blasted out 2 punches towards the 2 elders who had just converted to the Nirvana realm. The terrifying fist aura was like a roaring tide. It smashed 2 long weapons that were piercing towards her and forced the 2 elders to retreat. Seeing the spirit fish knock back the 2 elders of the Dongfang clan with 2 punches, Dongfang Bukong was shocked. He didn't expect the young spirit fish to have such terrifying combat power. She was able to fight against 2 powerful Nirvana cultivators. Spirit fish, your attack is too gentle. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed with a murderous light. His strength of more than 100 and 200 kilograms exploded. He stepped on the sword and appeared in front of the 2 elders of the Dongfang clan. He launched a thunderous attack at them. Vertigo technique. Yi Qinfeng's soul power formed a terrifying vertigo power in his mind. It fiercely blasted into the 2 white-haired elders' soul seas, causing their reactions to slow down. In the next moment, the 3 diagrams of the great Tao appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. He ignited his demonic god bloodline and combined the power of the 3 diagrams of the great Tao. He punched towards the head of an elder. The terrifying fist aura tore through the elder's defenses as easily as crushing dry weeds. Under his horrified gaze, the fist aura landed on his head. Bang! The elder's head was like a blooming flower of blood. It exploded in the air and blood splattered everywhere. After killing a powerful Nirvana cultivator with a single punch, the bronze sword spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body and turned into a light sword in the air. It was like a waterfall falling from the mortal world. It slashed at the elder who had summoned the Gu Dao treasure. Puff! Facing the bronze sword spirit's attack, the Gu Dao treasure summoned by the elder was sent flying. The terrifying sword aura blasted into his body and left a large number of sword spirits on the surface of his body. Stop! Dongfang Bukong didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so bold as to openly commit murder in the Dongfang clan. He was instantly enraged and roared loudly. However, Yi Qinfeng ignored him. The dragon spine, sacred sword appeared in his hand. He stabbed out with a horizontal slash, drawing a white sword shadow in the hall that was filled with the smell of blood. The sword slashed the heavily injured elder in half, killing him on the spot. Blood splattered everywhere. The entire hall was silent. Mobile reading home. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1296. How dare you commit murder in my Dongfang old residence? Looking at the two corpses lying in a pool of blood, Dongfang Bukong was completely enraged. Dongfang Jue was so scared that his face turned pale. He trembled and quickly retreated to Dongfang Bukong's side to seek protection. Don't talk big. A mere Dongfang family can't scare me. Yi Qinfeng took out a clean handkerchief and gently wiped the blood off the dragon spine sacred sword as he said indifferently, Fine, fine, fine. Let's see if you'll still be so stubborn. As he spoke, Dongfang Bukong summoned a multi-edged array disc. Through the array disc, he controlled a powerful killing formation hidden in the main hall and locked onto Yi Qinfeng. Rumble, the killing formation was activated. A thunderous roar immediately sounded from the formation. A large number of formation patterns gathered in the formation diagram that appeared. It was like heavenly lightning falling from the sky. Ancient map fragment, forbidden the thunder-like array pattern, surged over like flowing water. Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the ancient map fragment and controlled the map fragment to restrict the space above Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish's head, defending against the attack of the offensive array pattern. In the next moment, an illusory light mirror with mysterious Tao patterns appeared on Yi Qinfeng's body. This illusory light mirror was one of the few great sect treasures of the Mirror Moon sect. It was a quasi-sage treasure and was very powerful. Under the control of Yi Qinfeng's soul power, beams of powerful Tao light shot out and attacked the formation diagram above his head. Boom, boom, boom under the attack of the illusory light mirror. The formation diagram that Dongfang Bukong controlled with all his strength exploded with a deafening sound. The vibration force caused the entire hall to tremble. Damn it, where did these two come from? Seeing Yi Qinfeng's methods, Dongfang Bukong's brows tightly knitted together. He felt a little troubled. He kept increasing the power of the formation diagram. He was determined to kill Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish. Heaven-breaking hammer break. While the Void Light Realm experts were attacking, the God-Eater brain was rapidly deducing and locking onto the weak point of the formation. It summoned the other treasure of the Mirror Moon sect that it had plundered, the Sky-Breaking Hammer and multitasking. It controlled the Sky-Breaking Hammer to explode with destructive power, shattering the offensive formation patterns descending from the sky and ruthlessly bombarding the weak point. Kachachi under the attack of the Sky-Shattering Hammer, the formation diagram that had skyrocketed in power began to crack. The entire formation diagram became chaotic and unstable. Chi the Bronze Sword Soul once again transformed into a 3-meter-long light sword. Like a beam of light that streaked across the sky, it tore apart the formation that was riddled with cracks and destroyed the slaughtering formation hidden in the lobby. Impressive. Your Excellency's methods are truly astonishing. The array diagram that enveloped Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qinfeng disappeared, and Yi Qinfeng saw two similar-looking old men appear beside Dongfang Bukong. They were not tall, wore linen robes, and had turbid eyes that seemed to possess a demonic nature. Judging from the aura emitted by the two of them, they should be Nirvana Realm almighty figures. Are they what the Dongfang family is relying on? They are too weak. Although they were all Nirvana Realm powerhouses, Yi Qinfeng felt that the strength of the two supreme elders of the Dongfang clan was far inferior to that of the Mirror Moon sect's perfected martial sage Yu Hua and martial sage Shui Wei. Even compared to the insect demon, there was still a gap. Don't think that you can look down on the world just because you have some skills. Let me tell you, in the Dongfang family, even if you are a dragon, you have to coil up, and even if you are a tiger, you have to lie down. Dongfang Bukong's pupils shrank as he warned with a dark face. A bunch of frogs at the bottom of a well. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said calmly, "Today I will stand here and see how you are going to kill me. If you can't kill me, then don't blame me for destroying the Dongfang family with my own hands." As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng slapped the beast-taming pouch. A large number of gold-devouring bugs flew out and surrounded him, and the spirit fish like layers of black walls. It made one's scalp tingle. Gold-devouring bugs. How did you get gold-devouring bugs? The insect demon's gold-devouring bugs were very famous in the Thunder region. Looking at the flapping wings and sharp teeth of the gold-devouring bugs, Dongfang Bukong and the others looked like they had seen a ghost. Could it be him? Suddenly, a name flashed across Dongfang Bukong's mind, a name that made him wary. A trace of uneasiness appeared on his chilling face. "You are the great evil Yi Qinfeng." As soon as Dongfang Bukong finished speaking, the two Grand Supreme Elders of the Dongfang family also changed their expressions. Recently, news of Yi Qinfeng's deeds had spread like wildfire. Furthermore, his methods of covering the sky with one hand, sweeping through the Mirror Moon sect, and continuously killing Earth, Realm, Nirvana, Realm powerhouses, shocked the entire Thunder domain. And he had been labeled as a dangerous person by some family forces. He was even more dangerous than the heartbroken green robe. "You guys talk too much. If you don't make a move, don't blame me for not giving you a chance." As he spoke, the sword puppet and golden battle god split out of his body and released a terrifying power. They locked onto the two mainstays of the Dongfang family, the Grand Supreme Elders of Nirvana. Wait a minute. Looking at the sword puppet and golden battle god, Dongfang Bukong was completely sure of Yi Qinfeng's identity. He quickly shouted, "Do you have any last words?" Yi Qinfeng coldly said, "Young Master Yi, this time my Dongfang family was in the wrong, but we have no intention of offending you. So please be magnanimous and spare us. We are willing to give you 100 million top-grade soul crystals as compensation to appease your anger." Thinking of Yi Qinfeng's fierce reputation and the fate of the Mirror Moon sect, Dongfang Bukong had no choice but to lower his noble head and admit defeat. As for the two Grand Supreme Elders of the Dongfang family, they didn't have the same momentum as before. Deep fear appeared in their turbid eyes. "I have plenty of top-grade soul crystals. I don't need them." Yi Qinfeng shook his head. "Then what does young master want?" Dongfang Bukong gritted his teeth and said he had no choice. He really didn't want to have a direct confrontation with the fierce Yi Qinfeng. His heart was filled with regret. He regretted that he didn't investigate Yi Qinfeng's identity before blindly attacking him. He even had the urge to strangle Dongfang Zhua to death. If he didn't cause trouble, the Dongfang family wouldn't have provoked such a powerful enemy for no reason. 30 mid-grade heaven crystals. I'll leave immediately after I get them, Yi Qinfeng said lightly. "Young Master Yi, mid-grade heaven crystals are too rare and precious. My Dongfang family doesn't have that many." Dongfang Bukong said awkwardly, "My Dongfang family only has 10 mid-grade heaven crystals. 20. One less, and I'll kill one of your Nirvana powerhouses. If I kill all of Nirvana, I'll start with the two of them." Yi Qinfeng said coldly, "You." Having lived for tens of thousands of years, the two Grand Supreme Elders of the Dongfang family had never suffered such humiliation. They were so angry that their bodies trembled. But when they saw the sword puppet and the golden god of war, they lost the courage to attack. "All right, my patience is limited. If I don't see 20 mid-grade heaven crystals in 2 hours, Don't blame me for starting a massacre, Yi Qinfeng warned coldly. All right, young master, please wait for a moment. I'll go gather the mid-grade heaven crystals now. The thought of asking for help from the Thunder Clan flashed through Dongfang Bukong's mind. But when he thought of Yi Qinfeng's methods, he didn't dare to take the risk. After thinking about it, he could only obediently agree to Yi Qinfeng's request to gather 20 precious mid-grade heaven crystals. However, when Dongfang Bukong walked out of the main hall that was filled with the smell of blood and was filled with cracks, and ordered the experts of the Dongfang family who had gathered outside the main hall after hearing the commotion to leave, a man who was as tall and straight as a steel spear, wearing a dark blue robe and with an extraordinary bearing, slowly walked in, accompanied by a white-haired old man and a woman who was boldly dressed, had a graceful figure, and had light makeup on her charming face, revealing snow-white skin and slender legs. Seeing this man, Dongfang Bukong showed a trace of surprise and quickly walked up to him. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1297. Dongfang Family Head, What Happened? Who is causing trouble in the Dongfang family? Why did you activate the sect protecting array? Lei Zixin, who was wearing a dark blue robe and had a trace of arrogance on his face, came in front of Dongfang Bukong and asked loudly, Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test this. Dongfang Bukong was deliberately hesitating. Dongfang Family Head, with young Master Shin here, what are you afraid of? No matter how powerful that person is, he can't be more powerful than young Master Shin. Dongfang Jiao, who was dressed boldly and had a hot figure, stood beside Lei Zixin and said confidently, Lei Zixin was the son of the Thunder Clan's great elder, Lei Chen. However, compared to Lei Zifin, Lei Zixin was far inferior in terms of talent and strength. However, with Lei Chen as a big tree, very few people in the Thunder region offended him, causing him to be arrogant. Because Lei Chen was very close to the Dongfang family, Lei Zixin and Dongfang Bukong had a good relationship. Dongfang Bukong also intended to marry his daughter to Lei Zixin as a concubine. Dongfang Family Head, since there are guests, let them in. Sensing the sudden visit of Lei Zixin and the rest, Yi Qinfeng, who was sitting peacefully on the chair in the main hall, said slowly. His deep voice rang in the ears of Lei Zixin and the rest. Damn, he's even crazier than me. Lei Zixin's face darkened. He brought the white-haired old man and the hot girl into the main hall angrily. Seeing the anger on Lei Zixin's face, Dongfang Bukong was secretly happy. He hoped that Yi Qinfeng would have a direct confrontation with Lei Zixin and take the opportunity to involve the Thunder Clan. That way, the crisis of the Dongfang family might be resolved. Ancient map fragment, forbidden when Lei Zixin and the rest angrily barged in. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the ancient map fragment to seal the entire main hall. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's action, Dongfang Bukong's heart jumped and felt uneasy. However, Lei Zixin revealed a strong anger. Damn, you have big guts. Don't tell me you want to harm me? Lei Zixin did not know Yi Qinfeng. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was leaning on the chair with a sharp gaze, he said angrily, You're from the Thunder Clan. Yi Qinfeng gently tapped the armrest of the armrest as he spoke indifferently. That's right. Revealing a proud and aloof expression, Lei Zixin said, If you know what's good for you, cripple your own cultivation base. Kneel down and beg for mercy. Perhaps I am in a good mood and will spare your life. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said in disdain, I didn't expect that the Thunder Tribe would produce such a trash like you. What a disgrace to the Thunder Tribe. Bold when the fiery woman heard Yi Qinfeng insult Lei Zixin in front of everyone. Her charming eyes revealed a thick, killing intent. A thunder Dao diagram appeared on her body, and under her control, it turned into a giant thunder blade. It brought along a deafening sound of thunder as it slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. Whoosh, the bronze sword spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's soul sea and turned into a divine sword that could slash the heavens and split the earth. The sword swept through the air and shocked the immortals. It directly shattered the giant lightning blade formed by the thunder diagram. Under the horrified gaze of the hot woman, it slashed forward. The fiery woman was only a level 5 beast emperor, so she was unable to dodge the bronze sword spirit's attack. Before the white-haired old man from Nirvana could come to her rescue, the bronze sword spirit slashed her body into 2 halves, killing her on the spot. Bronze sword spirit, who are you? The white-haired old man did not expect Yi Qinfeng to kill someone just because of a disagreement. His expression changed as he stood in front of Lei Zishan to protect him. He looked at him with a serious gaze and asked loudly, Yi Qinfeng. Yi Qinfeng withdrew the bronze sword spirit and said indifferently, Great calamity, Yi Qinfeng. You actually came to Holy Thunder City? The white-haired old man and Lei Zishan's pupils shrank, revealing a look of apprehension. Lei Zishan even secretly touched the communication pearl hidden at his waist. If I were you, I wouldn't think of using the communication pearl to send a message. That would only make you die faster. How strong was Yi Qinfeng's soul? He caught Lei Zishan's small movements and warned him coldly. Yi Qinfeng, I'm warning you. Although your methods are ruthless, this is Holy Thunder City, the headquarters of the Thunder Tribe. If you dare to harm me, I'll paw. Before he finished speaking, Lei Zishan suddenly saw a blur in front of him. Yi Qinfeng, who was supposed to be sitting on the chair, suddenly appeared in front of him. He stepped on the sword diagram and forced the white-haired old man to retreat. With a slap, he sent the old man flying and heavily crashed into the restriction wall. I'm beating you now. What can you do about it? Yi Qinfeng said indifferently with his hands behind his back. He looked at Lei Zishan, whose cheeks were caved in and blood was flowing out of his mouth. Dongfang family head, kill him for me. If you kill him, I'll agree to whatever you want. A sense of humiliation that he had never experienced before surged into his soul sea. Lei Zishan covered his bleeding mouth and ordered angrily, Do you think they dare to attack me? Yi Qinfeng said with disdain, Also, even if I massacre the Dongfang family, the Thunder Tribe won't do anything to me. Bullshit. Why would my Thunder Tribe be afraid of you? Lei Zishan glared at Yi Qinfeng with bloodshot eyes. If you don't believe me, then let's make a bet. Yi Qinfeng said with a smile. However, in Dongfang Bukong's eyes, it was like the smile of a death god. Large amounts of sweat appeared on his forehead. Young Master Yi, my Dongfang family has no intention of offending you. Please don't use my Dongfang family as a wager. Dongfang Bukong thought of the rumors that Yi Qinfeng had a terrifying background that even made the Thunder Tribe apprehensive. He didn't dare to take the risk and quickly said, Good. Yi Qinfeng, you have guts. Let's wait and see. Lei Zishan said with gritted teeth. Without the help of the Dongfang family, Lei Zishan knew that he couldn't do anything to Yi Qinfeng. He left behind a ruthless sentence and was about to leave. Go. Did I say you can go? Yi Qinfeng revealed a cold smile. The sword puppet and golden battle god split out of his body again and locked onto Lei Zishan and the white-haired old man. What do you want? Aren't you afraid of my Thunder Tribe's revenge? Feeling the killing intent emitted by the sword puppet and golden battle god, Lei Zishan felt a trace of fear in his heart. He gulped and braced himself. Do you think I'm afraid? Yi Qinfeng smiled and walked with heavy steps towards Lei Zishan, whose expression changed slightly. The fear in his heart was growing stronger. Young Master Yi, my Thunder Tribe has no intention of being enemies with you. Please give face to the Thunder Tribe and don't make things difficult for our young Master Zishan. The white-haired old man took a deep breath and stood in front of Yi Qinfeng. You don't have the qualifications to plead for him. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said coldly, Dongfang family head, what are you waiting for? If something happens to me in your Dongfang family, my father will definitely not let you off. When he met Yi Qinfeng's cold eyes, Lei Zixin, who felt a chill down his spine, shouted at the hesitant Dongfang Bukong. If it was anyone else, Dongfang Bukong would definitely take the huge risk to help Lei Zixin. However, Yi Qinfeng's fierce reputation made him feel apprehensive. Young Master Zixin, leave quickly. The white-haired old man gritted his teeth and suddenly burned his powerful bloodline and blood qi. He raised his strength to the peak and attacked Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to use his own strength to buy time for Lei Zixin to escape. Qi. The moment the white-haired old man attacked, the sword puppet and golden battle god attacked him at the same time. The shocking sword light and golden fist light sealed all the space around him and ruthlessly bombarded his body. As they tore through space, they directly shattered him and killed him. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng used his sword steps and flew past the rising blood qi in the air. He appeared beside Lei Zixin, who was pale with fright and was desperately attacking the restrictions on the remnant map. Die. Sensing Yi Qinfeng's approach, Lei Zixin stimulated all the potential in his body. He rushed at Yi Qinfeng and sent a palm strike flashing with lightning, trying to force him back. However, the difference in strength between them was too great. Yi Qinfeng used his body, which was comparable to an ancient Tao artifact, to take Lei Zixin's palm strike head-on. His palm, which was filled with terrifying power, ruthlessly smashed into Lei Zixin's head. The palm strike knocked him to the ground, and he fainted with blood flowing out of his 7 orifices. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1298. Young Master Yi. Lei Zixin is the son of the Thunder Clan's great elder Lei Qin, and Lei Qin has a very high position in the Thunder Clan. He is currently the second most powerful person in the Thunder Clan. You must not kill Lei Zixin, or you will definitely cause a disaster. Looking at the unconscious Lei Zixin, Dongfang Bukong hurriedly advised. He was afraid that Yi Qinfeng would kill him, and the Dongfang clan would also suffer. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. I know he is Lei Chen's son, Yi Qinfeng said faintly. He took out several black pills and said, If you don't want to be killed by me, then take these black pills. Otherwise, don't blame me for cutting the weeds and eliminating the roots. Young Master Yi, aren't you going too far? If you force us to take the poison, then we can only fight back. When the masters of the Thunder Clan are attracted, I'm afraid it will be disadvantageous for you. The great elder of the Dongfang clan resisted. If they took the poison in Yi Qinfeng's hand, then it was equivalent to their fate being controlled by Yi Qinfeng. They were unwilling. You don't have the right to bargain with me. Whoever doesn't take the poison in my hand, I will kill him. Yi Qinfeng revealed his domineering side and said without allowing any resistance. You. The 2 great elders of the Dongfang clan were enraged by Yi Qinfeng's arrogance. They hesitated whether they should directly attack Yi Qinfeng. While they were hesitating, Yi Qinfeng took out the Saint Perishing Pearl. It was that pearl. The news of Yi Qinfeng sweeping through the Mirror Moon sect had caused an uproar. There were rumors that Yi Qinfeng and the others were able to kill the 2 masters of Nirvana, including the 2 great masters of the Mirror Moon sect, because of the Saint Perishing Pearl. So when the 2 great elders of the Dongfang clan saw the Saint Perishing Pearl in Yi Qinfeng's hand, their expressions changed at the same time. Whoosh, whoosh, 2 ear-piercing sounds broke through the air. When the 2 great elders of the Dongfang clan revealed a look of fear, the sword puppet and golden battle god attacked them from the left and right. They exploded with shocking power, completely suppressing their offensive. Young Master Yi, my Dongfang clan has no intention to be your enemy. Please be magnanimous and let us go. Dongfang Bukong saw the two supreme elders being suppressed in the blink of an eye. The Saint Destruction Pearl in Yi Qinfeng's hand made him smell the scent of death. He had no choice but to beg for mercy. "If you eat the poison in my hand, I will let you go. If you don't, then go to hell," Yi Qinfeng said coldly. "Young master, you wants to secretly control my Dongfang clan," Dongfang Bukong said through gritted teeth. Under the threat of death, he was unable to summon up the courage to kill Yi Qinfeng at all costs. "I have no interest in controlling you. When I leave Holy Thunder City, I will give you the antidote and return you your freedom." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said, "Really?" Dongfang Bukong's eyes lit up. Although he was unwilling to be controlled by Yi Qinfeng if it was only for a short period of time, he could still accept it. "Do you think the Dongfang clan is worthy of my control?" Yi Qinfeng said bluntly. "All right. I believe that young Master Yi is a man of his word." Although Yi Qinfeng's words made Dongfang Bukong quite angry when he thought of Yi Qinfeng's strength and his suspected terrifying background, Dongfang Bukong suddenly had a thought that following Yi Qinfeng was not a bad choice. After making the decision, Dongfang Bukong immediately sent a sound transmission to the two supreme elders, who were at an absolute disadvantage. In the end, under Yi Qinfeng's intimidation, Dongfang Bukong and the others surrendered and took the poison pill in Yi Qinfeng's hand. "Remember, keep your mouth shut about what happened today. Moreover, don't let your clan members speak carelessly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless to your Dongfang clan," Yi Qinfeng warned coldly. "Don't worry, young Master Yi, we know what to do." After taking the poison pill, Dongfang Bukong and the others immediately felt a slow-acting poison that ignored the barrier of Dao power slowly invading their bodies. They sighed helplessly and promised, "All right, you guys clean this place up. If the Thunder Clan members ask about Lei Zixin, just give them a random reason to dismiss them." After speaking, Yi Qinfeng came to the unconscious Lei Zixin and put him into the Qinkuan realm. Space treasure seeing Lei Zixin's strange disappearance, Dongfang Bukong and the others immediately guessed that Yi Qinfeng possessed a spatial treasure. They became even more fearful of him. They immediately went to the storehouse and gave Yi Qinfeng the 21 medial grade heavenly crystals they had collected. "Brother Qingfeng, aren't you afraid that they will ask for help from the Thunder Clan if we go ahead?" After leaving the Dongfang clan's old mansion, Ling Yu said worriedly, "Don't worry, Dongfang Bukong is not a fool. Before they get rid of the poison in their bodies, they won't dare to offend us and ask for help from the Thunder Clan. Even if they do, I'm not afraid. This time, I'm here to turn the Thunder Clan upside down." Yi Qinfeng said slowly, "Let's go. Let's find a place to stay first." Holy Thunder City was too big and there were inns everywhere. Soon, Yi Qinfeng and Ling Yu found a beautiful inn built beside a quiet lake. They rented 2 rooms by the lake to rest. After entering the room, Yi Qinfeng laid down a soundproof restriction in the room. With a thought, he entered the universe realm. At this time, Lei Zixin, who was knocked unconscious by his palm, woke up. When he saw the unfamiliar surroundings, his face turned pale with fear. "You're awake." A cold voice entered Lei Zixin's ears. Yi Qinfeng walked towards him with steady steps. "Yi Qinfeng, I advise you to let me go, or else." Before Lei Zixin could finish his threat, Yi Qinfeng raised his hand and slapped him, sending him flying. He fell heavily onto the ground and said, "You talk too much nonsense. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll pull out your tongue." "You, what do you want to let me go?" Lei Zixin was really scared. He stood up shakily and asked fearfully, "That depends on whether you are valuable or not. I won't keep a useless person by my side," Yi Qinfeng said coldly. He appeared behind Lei Zixin in a flash and warned him coldly, "If you don't want to die, don't move. Otherwise, I'll break your neck." After speaking, Yi Qinfeng pressed his right hand on Lei Zixin's head and used the power of the God-Eater brain to search Lei Zixin's soul. Lei Zixin was scared by Yi Qinfeng's ruthless methods. Surprisingly, he cooperated and stayed motionless, allowing Yi Qinfeng to search his soul and retrieve the memories in his mind. Is your father really going to work with the old patriarch of the Lei clan to oust the current patriarch? After obtaining Lei Zixin's soul memories, Yi Qinfeng asked with a serious expression, revealing a pleasantly surprised expression. It's not that my father wants to usurp the throne, but the old patriarch was not willing to be replaced by Lei Zhongtong. He secretly worked with my father to take back everything that should have belonged to him. After Yi Qinfeng found out the secret in the Soul Sea, Lei Zixin threw caution to the wind and begged Yi Qinfeng to spare his life. The Lei clan was not as peaceful as it seemed. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself, Lei Zixin, your life is safe for now. As long as you help me with one more thing, I'll let you go. What is it? Lei Zixin's eyes were filled with despair as he hurriedly asked. You'll know when the time comes. For the time being, I'll have to trouble you to stay here. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng, who accidentally obtained important information, left the universe realm and returned to the room. He took out the ancient map fragment and used the power of the God-Eater brain to repair it. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1299. Very quickly, 3 days had passed. In these 3 days, the Holy Thunder City was calm and tranquil. There were no twists and turns. Because Lei Zixin had entanglements with many women, he would often disappear for no reason. Therefore, his absence for 3 days did not alarm Lei Qin. Let's go and take a stroll in the Holy Thunder City. With the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Qinfeng repaired the broken runes in the ancient map fragment. He left the tavern with Ling Yu and wandered around the vast Holy Thunder City, looking for a breakthrough. Yes, sounds of an intense battle. The two of them wandered around the Holy Thunder City for 6 hours and tasted some delicious food. When they arrived at the southern part of the city, they suddenly heard the sound of an intense battle not far away. Following the source of the sound, Yi Qinfeng saw from afar that there was a square battle stage made of special materials. It was about 1 li in size and was enveloped in a seal. At this moment, there were people fighting fiercely on the battle stage. The air was filled with a suffocating fanaticism. The exciting and intense battles were constantly igniting the flames in the hearts of the spectators, causing them to let out loud cheers. Brat, you are too weak. You can't even break through my defense. Get off the stage. A tall and sturdy level 5 combat beast emperor was holding a mace that weighed more than 10,000 jin. His whole body was covered with thick black hair. He was innately strong and was holding a mace that weighed more than 10,000 jin. He waved his mace and smashed it against his opponent. A tall and straight man with a pale complexion was sent flying, breaking many of his bones. The man fell out of the battle stage and laid on the ground, unable to stand up for a long time. Tai Long, you are too brave. You are my warrior. A woman with slightly tanned skin and a sexy figure, exuding a different kind of beauty, was shouting loudly below the stage. She was constantly cheering for the tall and sturdy man. Looking at her fanatical and excited expression, it seemed like she wanted to jump into his embrace. Haha, who else is there? Tai Long smashed the mace that weighed more than 10,000 jin on the ground. Looking at the sexy woman and the others, he shouted arrogantly. This was the sacred battle platform unique to the Holy Thunder City. No matter who it was, they could challenge anyone on the sacred battle platform. For every victory, they would be rewarded with a large amount of top-grade soul crystals. Looking at the arena in the distance, Yi Qinfeng and the spirit fish holding 2 big meat skewers showed great interest and slowly walked over. What's wrong? No one dares to challenge me anymore? Could it be that there is no one else in Holy Thunder City? Tai Long, who had obtained 8 consecutive victories, was somewhat carried away as he laughed wantonly. He's too arrogant. Elder sister wants me to teach him a lesson and let him know the rules. Beside the sacred battle platform, there was an ancient-looking tea house. At this moment, in one of the private rooms of the tea house, a woman dressed in a black martial robe that accentuated her exquisite curves, her skin as white as snow, her aura cold and elegant, her jet-black hair draped over her shoulders, and her facial features as exquisite as a jade carving, put down the teacup in her hand and spoke with resentment. What he said just now offended many people. Someone will teach him a lesson. We don't need to do anything. Opposite the black-clothed woman sat a woman who looked somewhat similar to her, but was more beautiful and enchanting than her. Just by sitting there silently, she could steal away her elegance. She slowly spoke. This woman, with a natural aura and indescribably beautiful appearance, was precisely the number one beauty of the Lightning region, Lei Zixin. The black-clothed woman was her cousin, Lei Yeching. As expected, after hearing Tai Long's arrogant words, a rank 6 combat beast emperor middle-aged man holding a mountain-splitting saber immediately jumped onto the sacred battle platform and started fighting with Tai Long. Although the middle-aged man's strength was one realm higher than Zhanlong, Zhanlong's innate talent was extraordinary and his strength was extraordinary. Adding on the fact that he had a high-grade Dao artifact with extremely high defensive power, he was able to completely restrain the middle-aged man's strength. The two of them ignited their bloodline and transformed into their beast soul form. After fighting for half an incense's time, Tai Long gradually gained the upper hand and completely suppressed the middle-aged man, forcing him to retreat. Trash, get the hell off the platform. After forcing the middle-aged man who was defending with all his strength to the edge of the sacred battle platform, Tai Long let out a violent roar and fused all his strength and Dao intent into the spiked club. Bringing along a terrifying momentum, he broke through the middle-aged man's defense and sent him flying out of the sacred battle platform, losing the battle. Arrogant, this guy is too arrogant. This guy's strength is extraordinary. He indeed has the qualifications to be arrogant. Looking at the insufferably arrogant Tai Long, who raised his arms high and roared towards the sky, many people who couldn't stand him became livid and gnashed their teeth in anger. But after witnessing his ruthless methods, the angry crowd still restrained the flames of anger in their hearts and didn't dare to step forward to challenge him. Just as Tai Long's clamoring grew louder and louder, a blurred afterimage drew a beautiful arc in the air and landed on the sacred battle platform, standing opposite Tai Long. The spirit fish is too warlike looking at the spirit fish that suddenly jumped onto the sacred battle platform. Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of a bitter smile as he muttered to himself. The reason why the spirit fish was so warlike was directly related to the bloodline in her body that was getting stronger and stronger. Especially the golden-eyed divine ape, it was born for battle. Where did this girl come from? Why aren't you scramming down from the platform? Otherwise, I'll smash you flat with a single punch. Tai Long looked at the spirit fish that was wearing a pink martial robe. Her face was flushed red and looked like a porcelain doll. Tai Long's brows were tightly knitted together as he fiercely warned her. If you can block a single punch of mine, I'll consider it your win. The spirit fish raised her white and tender hands high and flashed them in front of Tai Long as she spoke in an arrogant and domineering manner. The audience below the sacred battle platform didn't expect the spirit fish's tone to be so arrogant, causing an uproar. And the spirit fish's arrogance angered Tai Long even more. A wave of violent energy erupted from his burly body. I'll smash you flat. Tai Long roared as the muscles all over his body continued to swell. He raised the high-grade spiked club high and smashed it towards the spirit fish with a mountain-crushing power and a daunting momentum. Facing the spiked club that was descending from the sky, the spirit fish extended her tender hands and raised them high. Relying on her absolute strength, she blocked the heavy blow from the spiked club. At the next moment, a muffled sound came from under Ling Yu's feet. He punched at Tai Long's chest with all his strength compressed to the extreme, bombarding his chest. His full-strength attack was easily neutralized by the spirit fish. Tai Long, who was greatly shocked, was unable to dodge. He could only use all his strength to defend against the spirit fish's punch. However, the spirit fish's punch was so terrifying that even Nirvana experts were afraid of it, let alone Tai Long, who was a rank 5 beast emperor. Pooh! He couldn't block the spirit fish's punch at all. His body's defense was broken through. He was sent flying off the sacred battle platform by the explosive power of the spirit fish's punch. He heavily crashed into the solid barrier of light and lost the match. Following that, the spirit fish let out a voice that was even more arrogant than Tai Long's, saying, "Next! Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to read it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support." Chapter 1300. How could it be her? Looking at the arrogant Lingyu with her hands on her hips, Lei Zixin, who was savoring her tea, frowned and revealed a surprised expression. Her beautiful eyes quickly scanned the crowd as if she was looking for something. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test sister. Do you know that arrogant little girl? Lei Yeching asked in surprise when she saw Lei Zixin, who was always calm in the face of chaos, lose her composure. And, if I am not wrong, that little girl is Yi Qinfeng's subordinate. Her appearance here proves that Yi Qinfeng is here. Lei Zixin put down the teacup in her hand and nodded. The great calamity, Yi Qinfeng actually dares to come to Holy Thunder City? Lei Yeching frowned and revealed a surprised expression. Some time ago, Yi Qinfeng had caused a bloody storm in the Thunder region, causing the Thunder clan to be dissatisfied, especially the Great Elders faction. They wanted to eliminate Yi Qinfeng. It could be said that his coming to Holy Thunder City was no different from trespassing on the gates of hell. Once Lei Qin knew of his arrival, he would definitely make a move. I see him. Lei Zixin's beautiful big eyes locked onto Yi Qinfeng, who was standing in the crowd. Her beautiful face revealed a faint smile and said, "Yi Qing, wait for me here. I will go out and find him." Lei Yeching said worriedly, "Sister, it is not good for you to find him at this juncture. After all, our Thunder Clan is not friendly to him. The enemy of an enemy is a friend. If we come into contact with him, Father will not blame us." After speaking, the graceful Lei Zixin left the tea house and appeared on the bustling street. Under the heated gazes of the crowd, she walked towards the sacred battle platform. "Look, it is Princess Zixin. She is too beautiful. I finally see the goddess in my heart. She is smiling at me." A man standing beside Yi Qinfeng saw Lei Zixin walking towards him with a smile on her face. He felt as if his head was smashed by a pleasant surprise. He was completely dumbfounded. Below the holy battle platform, the crowd was in an uproar. Numerous pairs of burning gazes were directed at Lei Zixin. Their alluring faces were filled with infatuation. Just when he was so excited that his face turned red and he couldn't speak, Lei Zixin, with a faint, delicate fragrance, moved her slender legs and came to his side. But her eyes moved from him to Yi Qinfeng's face. Her thin lips slightly curved, and she said gently, "Young master Yi, we meet again. Welcome to Holy Thunder City. I promised you that I would come to the Holy Thunder City to give you an explanation." Looking at Lei Zixin, who was extremely beautiful and whose smile could captivate the soul, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but praise her. This Lei Zixin was truly worthy of being called the #1 beauty of the Thunder Dominion. Whether it was her appearance or temperament, she was nearly perfect. "Young master Yi, do you have time? Can we find a place to chat?" Lei Zixin softly invited, the smile on her face growing wider. Her limpid eyes stared at Yi Qinfeng, filled with charm. "Okay," Yi Qinfeng nodded, called back Lingyu from the sacred battle platform, and followed Lei Zixin back to the tea-house's private room. Who would have thought that the great ferocious Yi Qinfeng, who caused people to tremble with fear, was actually such a graceful young man? Looking at the tall and straight figure of Yi Qinfeng who walked into the private room, Lei Yeching's eyes shot out rays of light. She sized him up and said softly, "Young master, don't be rude. Yi Qinfeng, don't be rude." Lei Zixin had seen with her own eyes how terrifying Yi Qinfeng was, so she didn't want to have a conflict with him. "I'm sorry, young Master Yi, but Yi Qing is my younger sister. She doesn't have any ill intentions towards you, so please don't take offense. It's fine. Actually, I quite like your younger sister's evaluation of me. Moreover, your younger sister is so beautiful, so I naturally won't be angry." Yi Qinfeng shook his head, revealed a faint smile, and sat down at an ancient table made of ancient wood, exuding the fragrance of sandalwood. "Young Master Yi, your daring to come to Holy Thunder City is indeed out of my expectations. However, you came at the wrong time," Lei Zixin said softly as she personally poured 2 cups of tea filled with spiritual energy for Yi Qinfeng and Ling Yu. Yi Qinfeng put down the exquisite teacup in his hand and asked, "Why would Princess Zixin say that?" "I won't hide it from young master. Not long ago, my Thunder Clan's Grand Elder returned. After hearing the news, all the branches of my Thunder Clan in the Thunder Territory came to Holy Thunder City to pay a visit to the Grand Elder. It can be said that this is the time when my Thunder Clan is at its strongest, but it is also the most dangerous time." Lei Zixin looked at Yi Qinfeng's delicate face and said, "Princess Zixin, are you afraid that the Thunder Clan will harm me?" Yi Qinfeng looked at her beautiful big eyes and asked with a smile, "To be honest, I really don't want anything to happen to you. Also, if young Master Yi doesn't mind, just call me Zixin." "Calling me princess is too polite," Lei Zixin said softly. "Don't worry. Since I dared to come to Holy Thunder City, I naturally have something to rely on." Yi Qinfeng drank up the spiritual tea in his cup. His voice revealed a domineering aura. "Yi Qinfeng, although the outside world widely says that you are very powerful and the Mirror Moon sect is on the verge of destruction because of you, you have to remember that my Thunder Clan is the absolute overlord of the Thunder Territory. It is not something that the Mirror Moon sect can compare to." Lei Yeching shook her head and reminded him, "If you really want to resolve the grudge between you and my Thunder Clan, you'd better listen to my sister and come back later. This time, I am not here to resolve the grudge, but to resolve the grudge." Yi Qinfeng said, "Resolve the grudge?" Lei Zixin and the other woman's complexion changed slightly. "Young Master Yi, you must not act recklessly. Our branch really doesn't want anything to happen to you. Don't worry, I am not that kind of hot-headed person. I know what to do." Yi Qinfeng revealed an arrogant smile and said, "Since all the branches of the Thunder Clan are here, the Thunder Clan should hold a grand banquet. I wonder when the banquet will be held." "Our Thunder Clan's banquet is scheduled for the day after tomorrow." Lei Zixin looked deeply at Yi Qinfeng, wanting to know what other cards he had. "Thank you. Early in the morning the day after tomorrow, I will visit the Thunder Clan." Yi Qinfeng slowly stood up and prepared to leave with the spirit fish. "Young Master Yi, tomorrow night my big brother will invite the younger generation of the major branches to the Fenglei Lu. At that time, the younger generation of the Holy Thunder Cities for major clans will also be there. I wonder if young Master Yi is interested in attending." Seeing Yi Qinfeng get up and leave, Lei Zixin suddenly called him and asked, "Okay, then I will be there on time tomorrow night." Yi Qinfeng nodded and agreed happily. "Young Master, this is the invitation to the Fenglei Lu's banquet tomorrow night. We siblings will be waiting for you at the Fenglei Lu." Lei Zixin lowered her posture, took out a blank invitation, and said softly, "See you tomorrow night." Yi Qinfeng nodded at the beautiful sisters, put away the invitation, and gently pulled the spirit fish's white and tender hand to leave. "Elder sister, Why did you invite him to the banquet tomorrow night? Aren't you afraid of something happening? Lei Yeching frowned and looked at Lei Zixin, puzzled. I want to test his cards, Lei Zixin said. Cards? This Yi Chen Feng is indeed not simple. But I really can't think of what cards he has to deal with my ThunderClan's Lei Yeching. There is, for example, my ThunderClan's Lei Zixin. My ThunderClan's elder sister. What do you mean? Lei Yeching's beautiful eyes widened. Let's wait and see. Maybe my ThunderClan is going to change. The clever Lei Zixin connected the recent events and the ThunderClan's attitude towards Yi Chen Feng. She had a premonition and revealed a trace of expectation. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1301. The Fenglei Inn was located at the foot of the Fenglei Mountain. It was one of the most famous inns in the Holy Thunder City. The environment was elegant and the decorations were luxurious. Without a certain status, one would not be able to enter. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test walking along the cobblestone road into the Fenglei Inn. Yi Chen Feng saw a bamboo forest that was as green as a crescent moon. The melodious zither notes were like dancing fairies flowing in his ears. Wow, so many beauties. The Thunder Clan really knows how to enjoy themselves. Walking in the afterglow to the Fenglei Inn, Ling Yu saw that the Fenglei Inn was built with ancient wood. At the entrance, there were 2 rows of elegant ladies wearing white cheongsams that wrapped around their voluptuous bodies. Every time a VIP with an invitation letter walked into the Windstorm Tower, these women would bow and greet them. When they lowered their bodies, a deep cleavage and a piece of snow-white flesh would be revealed in the empty chest area of their white cheongsam. It was very seductive. Looking at the seductive scene in front of them, many young disciples were deeply attracted and could not help but gulp. This Lei Zifan was really attentive. Looking at the scene in front of him, Yi Chen Feng smiled and pulled the cute Ling Yu over. Do the 2 of you have an invitation? Looking at Yi Chen Feng and Ling Yu, who were wearing ordinary clothes without any insignia of the Thunder Clan and had unfamiliar faces, a woman with an alluring figure asked softly with a charming smile. She wore a black qipao embroidered with phoenixes and a large spiritual jade around her neck. Yes. Yi Chen Feng took out the invitation that Lei Zixin gave him and handed it to the lady in cheongsam. Please come in. After checking the invitation that Yi Chen Feng handed over, the lady in cheongsam found that the invitation was blank and there was no signature. However, after confirming it repeatedly, she was certain that the invitation card was real. She took a deep look at the cold and arrogant Yi Chen Feng and revealed a charming smile. Then, she invited the 2 of them into the brightly lit Fenglei Pavilion, which had a large amount of delicious food and wine. As Yi Chen Feng and Ling Yu had arrived early, the people from the major branches of the Thunder Clan had not arrived yet. Only the young disciples of the major clans in the Holy Thunder City were drinking and chatting in the hall. Lots of good food, smelling the alluring aroma of the meat floating in the air. The eyes of the spirit fish lit up. They came to the side of the plates that made one drool as they tasted them. Delicious, the food here is too delicious. Ling Yu's mouth was filled with delicious food, and his cheeks were bulging. He shouted at Yi Chen Feng, Brother Ching Feng, come and try it. Where did this hick come from? A skinny level 5 combat beast emperor wearing a luxurious robe glanced at the spiritual fish that were eating happily. He frowned and sneered coldly. That's right, she's dressed like a beggar. How did she manage to sneak in? Just looking at her makes one's stomach turn. Beside the skinny man, a tall and slender woman dressed in a white silk dress said in disgust. She had a cold and unruly expression on her face. Come here. The skinny man waved his hand and called over the imperial bodyguard in charge of Fenglei Lu's security. He said, I suspect that person sneaked in. You guys go and verify his identity. Don't ruin young Master Lei's banquet because of him. It's young Master Wu. The Feng Lei Lu's imperial bodyguard in silver armor obeyed and walked towards Ling Yu. Miss, do you have an invitation? Looking at the chubby mouth of the spirit fish, the imperial bodyguard in silver armor frowned slightly and asked in a low voice, "This is our invitation." Yi Qinfeng's sharp eyes swept over the skinny man and the others who were stirring up trouble. He slowly walked over and showed the invitation card as he spoke indifferently. "This invitation is fake, right?" Seeing that Yi Qinfeng's invitation was blank, the tall woman asked suspiciously. "It must be fake," the skinny man said in an unquestionable tone. "In order to show our honorable status, our invitation is signed. How can there be a blank one? The invitation in their hand is definitely fake." "Young master, where did you get this invitation?" the imperial bodyguard in silver armor asked in a low voice. He was also suspicious of the invitation in Yi Qinfeng's hand. "Lei Zixin gave it to me," Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. As soon as Yi Qinfeng's words fell, the tall woman laughed out loud. The disdain on her face was even stronger. She said, sarcastically, "You don't know how to find excuses. Princess Zixin knows people like you. Why don't you say that this invitation was given to you by young Master Lei?" At that time, Lei Zifan was not here. "If he was, I think he would also invite us," Yi Qinfeng said with an indifferent expression. "You too, if you can't prove the authenticity of the invitation, I can only ask you to leave." The imperial bodyguard in silver armor did not believe that Yi Qinfeng knew Lei Zifan and Lei Zixin, so he said in a cold voice, "Since I promised Lei Zixin to attend banquet, I will not leave Yi Qinfeng." Yi Qinfeng said indifferently, "Also, I have a bad temper. You better not provoke me." "Damn it, you dare to threaten me?" The skinny man was the young master of the Wu family. He relied on the Wu family to cultivate his domineering personality. When he heard Yi Qinfeng's threat, he flew into a rage. His triangular eyes flashed with cold light as he walked over with a murderous aura. "Ugly bastard, if you continue to spout nonsense, I will beat you up so badly that even your mother won't be able to recognize you," Ling Yu warned coldly as she wiped her mouth and looked at the ashen-faced Wu Jinxing. "Stupid girl, I will cripple you." Veins popped out on Wu Jinxing's forehead. He poured all the soul power in his body into his hands and was about to teach Ling Yu a lesson. Bang! Just as he got close, an illusory palm appeared in front of him. Ling Yu's small hand was filled with powerful strength as it ruthlessly slapped his mouth. With a slap, he was sent flying into the air, following which the spirit fish clasped onto his ankle and unleashed a force of 100 million kilograms, pulling him back from losing control of his body. Then it smashed him heavily onto the ground. Bang! The melodious sound of a zither drifted through the wind thunder pavilion, and a loud rumble resounded. Over 10 young elites who had arrived with invitations in their hands shot their gazes over in unison. When they saw Wu Jinxing, who had always been arrogant, domineering, and looked down on everyone else, being smashed to the ground by a little girl who looked like a porcelain doll, and crying for her father and mother, they were all dumbfounded. "How dare you? Stop right now!" The silver-armored guard was the first to come to his senses. He roared and summoned a sharp saber to slash at the spiritual fish. He wanted to force her back and save Wu Jinxing, who was spitting out blood and wailing in pain. Bang! The spirit fish stomped on Wu Jinxing's chest, breaking his sternum. Then it threw a punch at the silver-armored guard, breaking his saber and sending him flying, shocking everyone present. Just as the Zephyr Tower descended into chaos and a large number of silver-armored guards rushed over, 2 men dressed in luxurious robes appeared. When the 2 of them saw the cold and arrogant Yi Qinfeng and the arrogant and domineering Ling Yu, their expressions changed, and they immediately ran over. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1302. All of you stop. Dongfang Zhua, who had rushed over, shouted loudly. Young Master Zhua, help me teach these two bastards a lesson. I want their lives. Seeing Dongfang Zhua and his brother, Dongfang Lu, who had suddenly appeared, Wu Jinqing, who was vomiting blood, revealed a cold expression and struggled to shout loudly. Damn it, Wu Jinqing, do I know you that well? Why should I save you? His life was still in Yi Qinfeng's hands. Dongfang Zhua was afraid that Yi Qinfeng would misunderstand, so he kicked Wu Jinqing's stomach and said fiercely. Seeing the scene, not only was Wu Jinqing, who was howling in pain, dumbfounded. Even the two girls who came with Wu Jinqing were dumbfounded. They looked at Dongfang Zhua, who had flown into a rage out of humiliation, in astonishment, unable to understand what he was doing. Could it be that they knew each other? A bad feeling flashed across the tall girl and the others' minds. Young Master Yi, I didn't expect to meet you here. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was looking at him with a faint smile, Dongfang Zhua thought of his ruthless methods and felt a chill down his spine. He tried his best to squeeze out a smile and said politely, Who is this person? Wu Jinqing knew Dongfang Zhua and his brother very well. Relying on the Dongfang family's influence, they were usually more arrogant and hedonistic than him. They would never lower their heads to ordinary people. Could it be that his invitation was real? Wu Jinqing felt as if he had kicked an iron plate and regretted his rashness. And I'm here to play. Yi Qinfeng nodded at Dongfang Zhua and his brother and told them a few words through telepathy. Don't you have anything else to do? What are you doing here? Hurry up and scram. Dongfang Lu shouted at the dozen of fierce-looking, silver-armored guards. Yo, the banquet hasn't started yet. Why is it so lively? The silver-armored guards in charge of the Fenglei restaurant's security had just been chased away by Dongfang Lu. Zhao Yunhu, who was wearing a white robe and had a graceful bearing, with his long black hair casually draped over his shoulders, came into the Fenglei restaurant with his arms around a woman with a sexy figure who was dressed boldly, revealing her snow-white skin and slender legs. The Zhao family was known as the head of the 4 great families of the Holy Thunder City, and Zhao Yunhu had cultivated to the level of a level 6 beast emperor. In terms of strength and status, he was much stronger than Dongfang Zhua and his brother. Young Master Zhao, someone hit me. Please help me. Wu Jinqing, whose face was bruised and swollen, shakily crawled up from the ground, came to Zhao Yunhu's side and cried loudly. Who did this? The relationship between the Wu family and the Zhao family was pretty good, and Wu Jinqing followed Zhao Yunhu's lead. Seeing Wu Jinqing's miserable state, Zhao Yunhu's expression immediately became gloomy, and he gloomily said, It's me, the spiritual fish, whose eyes were shining with golden light, said with her hands on her hips, Kneel down and break your own limbs, and I will spare your life. Zhao Yunhu looked at the fearless spirit fish and ordered with the tone of a superior, Zhao Yunhu, young Master Yi and young Lady Ling, you are not people you can offend. You better be more polite when you speak. Don't bring death upon the Zhao clan. Dongfang Zhua and his brother had a good relationship with Zhao Yunhu. They were afraid that he would anger Yi Qinfeng, so they kindly reminded him, What a joke! How many people in Holy Thunder City are people my Zhao family can't afford to offend? Zhao Yunhu said arrogantly. Dongfang Zhua and his brother looked at each other and sighed. They didn't dare to say anything, but they sympathized with Zhao Yunhu in their hearts. Even the top young master, Lei Zixin, was under Yi Qinfeng's control. They didn't even know if he was dead or alive, let alone a mere Zhao Yunhu. Once they angered Yi Qinfeng, they knew that the Zhao family would most likely end up like their Dongfang family. What? Didn't you hear me? Break your own limbs, and I will spare your life. Zhao Yunhu saw that the Dongfang Zhua and his brother were silent. He thought that they were afraid of him, so he revealed an arrogant smile and repeated his words. "Kneel down for me." Suddenly, he noticed that the spiritual fish a few meters away had turned into an afterimage and suddenly closed in on him. She tiptoed and appeared in front of him, sending a palm strike towards his shoulder. In the next moment, he felt an unimaginable power surge into his body. It was as if he was smashed by a towering mountain. His legs went soft and his knees fiercely hit the ground, causing cracks to appear on the hard ground. Silence. Incomparable silence. Witnessing the scene of Zhao Yunhu being forced to kneel on the ground by the spiritual fish, everyone present was dumbfounded. They didn't dare to imagine what had just happened. They were even more shocked by the spiritual fish's strength. The person in charge of the Wind Thunder Pavilion, Lei Yichuan from the Thunder Clan, was also alarmed by the conflict in the hall. He brought 2 powerful guards and hurriedly rushed over. "I'll kill you." An unprecedented feeling of humiliation surged into Zhao Yunhu's heart, making him go crazy. It made him want to tear apart the spiritual fish to vent his anger. Bang! Zhao Yunhu's body erupted with a heaven-shaking power. Ignoring the pain in his knees, he struggled to jump up from the ground to counterattack. The spiritual fish was even faster and kicked his stomach, sending him flying. A large amount of blood sprayed out from his mouth as he fell over 10 meters away and fiercely smashed into the ground. "Stop!" Looking at Zhao Yunhu, who was sent flying by the spiritual fish and the bloodstains on the ground, Lei Yichuan was instantly enraged and ordered loudly. Today was the day when Lei Zifin invited the young elites of the Thunder Clan to a banquet. The spiritual fish dared to create trouble at this time. It was undoubtedly a slap to Lei Zifin's face. Thinking of the serious consequences of this matter, Lei Yichuan even had the thought of killing the spiritual fish. "Who are you people? Why are you creating trouble in my Wind Thunder Pavilion?" Lei Yichuan glared at Yi Qinfeng and shouted loudly. "Humph, they were the ones who started it." The spiritual fish coldly snorted and said fearlessly, "Master Lei, their invitation was not signed and we suspected that their invitation was fake. But they actually beat someone up just because of a disagreement. They are simply lawless and did not put the Thunder Clan in their eyes." Wu Jinxing, whose face was bruised and swollen, saw that the matter had blown up. He was secretly delighted and immediately stood out and reprimanded loudly. "If it wasn't for giving face to Lei Zifin, the 2 of you would have already been dead." Yi Qinfeng said indifferently, "What a big tone. If the 2 of you don't give I an explanation today, I'm afraid that you won't be able to leave." Lei Yichuan said angrily. A large number of silver-armored guards surrounded Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish. He did not lie. If he wanted to kill, the 2 of you would have been dead long ago. Even if Lei Zifin came, it would be useless. Suddenly, a seductive voice sounded, and a charming woman wearing a tight, black cheongsam walked over slowly. Her voluptuous figure was outlined vividly and incisively. Because the black cheongsam was slightly revealing, it only covered her round buttocks. Her 2 fair and straight legs were completely exposed to the air. She looked exceptionally devilish. Heartbroken looking at the sexy woman, Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. He did not expect that Heartbroken, who should have left, would suddenly appear in the Wind Thunder Pavilion. Please visit Yunlai Pavilion or visit the website directly. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you will be able to see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1303. Why are you here? Looking at the soul-stirring Duanchang, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but frown. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test if you can come. Why can't I? Duanchang gently brushed her long black hair and said, "But why is your temper so good all of a sudden? You didn't start a massacre after being provoked." "Why? Do you want me to have a direct conflict with the Lei clan?" Yi Qinfeng asked indifferently. Duan Chang, who seemed neither friend nor foe. Yes, I do want to see you show off your power and kill a few people from the Lei clan. Duan Chang smiled and said deliberately, Don't worry, it will be as you wish. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. Hua! Hearing Yi Qinfeng's words, the whole Feng Lei Tower was in an uproar. People who dared to be so arrogant in the Lei clan's territory were either crazy or had something to rely on. However, both Yi Qinfeng and the spiritual fish were only level 5 beast emperors. No one could figure out what gave Yi Qinfeng the right to be so arrogant. Who are you guys? Lei Yichuan didn't know Duan Chang, but the aura emitted from Duan Chang made his heart palpitate. But hearing the conversation between the two, Lei Yichuan was completely enraged and said angrily, You don't deserve to know our identity. Duan Chang smiled faintly at Lei Yichuan. A killing intent accumulated from blood and bones emanated from her voluptuous body and blasted into Lei Yichuan's body. It made him feel as if he had stepped into the gates of hell. All the hairs on his body stood up at this moment. Let's go, don't bother with these trash. Drink with sister. If you can make sister happy today, sister will give you a chance to get intimate with her. Releasing her murderous intent to intimidate Lei Yichuan and the others, Duan Chang's red lips, which looked like they were smeared with blood, curled up slightly. Her voice was coquettish, causing people to daydream. Okay, let's go and have a few drinks. Yi Qinfeng nodded and walked away slowly. Dongfang Lu, Dongfang Zhua, do you know those people? Tell me, who are they? I swear I'll make them suffer. Zhao Yunhu, who had lost all his face, crawled up from the ground. He glared with his blood-red eyes and said murderously, Zhao Yunhu, since we're friends, I'll remind you that they're not people you and I can offend. If you don't want anything to happen to the Zhao family, then bear with it. Dongfang Lu looked at the ferocious Zhao Yunhu and shook her head. She kindly reminded him before leaving with Dongfang Zhua. Landlord, should we drive them away? The enchanting woman who had just received Yi Qinfeng came to Lei Yichuan's side and asked through voice transmission, Wait a minute, let me ask young master and see if they are his friends. When Lei Yichuan saw that Yi Qinfeng and the others did not intend to leave, he pondered for a moment and said, When Lei Yichuan ended the communication with Lei Ziffin in the rear hall, his body couldn't help but tremble as beads of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. It's actually them. After knowing the identity of Yi Qinfeng and Duan Chang, Lei Yichuan's heart was filled with lingering fear. At this moment, he finally knew that Duan Chang wasn't trying to scare him. If Yi Qinfeng wanted to start a massacre, he wouldn't have any scruples. Landlord, what did young master say? Looking at Lei Yichuan, whose forehead was covered with beads of sweat and whose rosy face had a tinge of paleness, the enchanting woman asked, Pass down my order. No one is to provoke those 3 people. Lei Yichuan took a deep breath and calmed his flustered heart before he ordered loudly. As time passed, the disciples of the various branches of the Lei clan arrived at the Feng Lei in one after another. Although the Feng Lei had already been cleaned up, they still heard about what had just happened. Their gazes towards Yi Qinfeng and the other 2 turned cold and were filled with hostility. However, some of the Lei clan's disciples saw that the body was emitting a fatal temptation like a peerless demon. Even when they were like Duan Chang, their eyes couldn't help but be attracted. Young Master Yi, why did you come to Holy Thunder City at this time? Duan Chang ignored the burning gazes around him. He held a cup of wine that was as red as blood and placed it on his sexy lips. He gently took a sip and asked, What do you think? Yi Qinfeng looked at Duan Chang's charming face and drank the wine in the cup in one gulp. Duan Chang spat out these 2 words, Maybe. Yi Qinfeng said ambiguously, But what is your purpose of coming to Holy Thunder City? Duan Chang also said very frankly, Then I wish you a happy killing. Yi Qinfeng took another cup of wine and clinked it with Duan Chang's hand. He drank the wine. Just when Yi Qinfeng and Duan Chang were chatting casually, A man wearing a blue robe with a chiseled face and a trace of arrogance on his face appeared. He walked with the vigor of a tiger. His appearance immediately attracted a lot of attention. Many people came forward to greet him. Lei Zai's, Lei Zixin's younger brother, Lei Chen's second son. Hearing the way people addressed the blue-robed man, Yi Qinfeng guessed his identity. But since Lei Zixin was suppressed by him, he wasn't interested in a mere Lei Zai's. Seeing Holy Thunder City's top hedonist Lei Zai's arrive, Zhao Yunhu, who had just suffered a great loss, immediately walked over. After a few words of greeting, he exaggerated the events that had just happened. Lei Zai's frowned slightly. He shot his gaze towards Yi Qinfeng and the other two. His eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness, but he was very shrewd. He didn't immediately provoke and take revenge. Instead, he stood in the middle of the hall and chatted with the others, trying to build a good relationship with the branch. Not long after Lei Zai's arrived, the absolute main characters of the day, Lei Zifin and his sister, appeared together. Today, Lei Zixin and her sister were wearing fiery red long dresses that accentuated their sexy bodies. Their perfect oval faces and exquisite facial features gave people a kind of beautiful enjoyment, especially their eyes that were as bright as peach blossoms and as bright as stars. It was hard for people to extricate themselves from them with a single glance. Compared to Lei Yeqing, Lei Zixin was more beautiful and enchanting. Especially her slender legs, they were like poison that attracted people's eyes and became the absolute focus. After Lei Zifin and the other two arrived, they simply exchanged a few words with the disciples of the Thunder Clan before walking towards Yi Qinfeng and the other two. Seeing the actions of Lei Zifin and the other two, Zhao Yunhu, who had just clashed with Yi Qinfeng, had a slight change in expression. Wu Jinqing was so frightened that he broke out in cold sweat. On the other hand, Lei Zai's eyes lit up as a sinister plan appeared in his mind. Brother Yi, Aunt Duan, Miss Lingyu, I'm sorry for what happened just now. I hope you won't take offense. After the banquet ends, I will give you an explanation. Lei Zifin apologized with an apologetic expression. What is the relationship between Aunt Duan and the Thunder Clan? Yi Qinfeng was constantly trying to figure out the relationship between Aunt Duan and the Thunder Clan. I'm not angry, but whether young Master Yi is angry or not, I'm not sure if he will take revenge in the future. Aunt Duan revealed a faint smile. What big words. My Thunder Clan doesn't want to bicker with you, but you want to bicker with us? You are really bullying my Thunder Clan. Before Lei Zifin could say anything, Lei Zai's walked over and looked at Yi Qinfeng with an unkind expression as he replied in a domineering manner. Then what do you want? Yi Qinfeng shifted his gaze to Lei Zai's and said indifferently, Since you insulted my Thunder Clan, I naturally have to seek justice for my Thunder Clan. Lei Zai's pinned a crime on Yi Qinfeng and said, Seeking justice. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said in disdain, You are not qualified. Let your father do it. Please visit Yunlai Pavilion or visit the website directly. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1304. Lei Zai's expression changed as he was instantly enraged. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement test. He didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be even more arrogant than him. His deep eyes shot out coldness and murderous intent. Zai's, don't be rude to young Master Yi. Apologize to him right now. Lei Zifin knew the cause and effect of the conflict. His expression changed slightly as he ordered loudly. Apologize? Why should I apologize? Lei Zai's retorted loudly. They insulted my Lei clan. If I apologize to them, where will my Lei clan's face go? Yes, young master, they didn't put my Lei clan in their eyes at all. If we don't teach them a lesson, how will the world view us? This person, must be eliminated. Hang his head on the Wind Thunder Tower, and let the people of Thunder Region see the consequences of going against my Lei clan." The Lei clan's disciples who had a good relationship with Lei Zai's echoed and pressured Lei Zifin. "Shut up! Whoever dares to talk nonsense will be punished according to the sect rules." Lei Zifin knew Yi Qinfeng's methods. If he was enraged, Lei Zai's and the others wouldn't be able to escape. He ordered furiously, "Lei Zifin, do you still remember that the Lei clan's blood flows in your body? Why are you protecting someone who insulted my Lei clan?" Lei Zai's was secretly delighted when he saw Lei Zifin was determined to protect Yi Qinfeng and the others. "I will give the Lei clan an explanation for today's matter. There's no need for you to point fingers here. If you continue to be presumptuous, don't blame me for being impolite." Lei Zifin's expression darkened as he glared at Lei Zixin and warned, "I can see that you guys are in cahoots. They're so daring and lawless. Is it because you are supporting them?" Lei's eyes panicked when he saw Lei Zifin's angry eyes. However, he knew that this was a rare opportunity. Moreover, the younger generation of the Lei clan's branches were here. If he could smear Lei Zifin's name today, it would definitely weaken his position in the Lei clan. "You dare to slander my brother? Are you tired of living?" Lei Yeqing, who was wearing a bright red dress and had an elegant temperament, warned angrily, "Lei Yeqing, do you really think that your branch can control the life and death of others?" Lei Zai said righteously, "Even if I die today, I will protect the reputation of the Lei clan. We will not allow anyone to insult us." Whoosh! Just as Lei Zai's finished speaking, a sword intent that caused everyone's heart to palpitate permeated the entire Feng Lian. It flew out of Yi Qinfeng's soul sea and transformed into a 3-meter-long sword. It suddenly slashed towards Lei Zai's, whose expression changed drastically. Although Lei Zai's strength was extraordinary, he could not withstand the bronze sword spirit's attack. He was sent flying by the bronze sword spirit. A deep sword wound ran through his body, and a large amount of blood flowed out. If it wasn't for the fact that Lei Zai's had a high-grade protective talisman on him, this sword strike would have cleaved him into two and killed him on the spot. You dare to kill me?" Lei Zai's, who had yet to recover from his shock, held onto his bleeding chest as he glared angrily at Yi Qinfeng, who had his hands behind his back and had an indifferent expression. "Didn't you say earlier that you would use your death to defend the Lei clan's reputation? Wasn't it wrong for me to fulfill your wish?" Yi Qinfeng's deep eyes shone with a sharp light. He looked at Lei Zai's, who had fallen to the ground, and slowly walked over. You better not mess around. If you dare to harm me, my Lei clan will definitely make you die without a burial ground." Seeing Yi Qinfeng getting closer and closer, Lei Zai's could feel the increasingly intense killing intent coming from him. Lei Zai's heart trembled as he warned loudly, "For a small character like you, it's fine if I kill you. As for the Lei clan's revenge, I will bear the responsibility alone." Yi Qinfeng said fearlessly. The bronze sword spirit floated above his head and spat out sword light. It pointed its sword at Lei Zai's, ready to deal a fatal blow at any moment. "What are you guys waiting for? Hurry up and deal with him together. Whoever can kill him will be heavily rewarded." Lei Zai's felt that Yi Qinfeng was a madman. He was really afraid that he would attack again, so he ordered loudly, "Big brother, what should we do?" Lei Zixin did not expect things to develop to this point. She looked at the gloomy and hesitant Lei Zifin and transmitted her voice to him. "Yi Qinfeng is not an impulsive person. I have a feeling that he is deliberately targeting Lei Zai's. Let's wait and see." Lei Zifin took a deep breath and transmitted his voice. "Big brother, aren't you afraid that Yi Qinfeng will kill Lei Zai's? If Lei Zai's dies, then this matter will really blow up." Lei Zixin said worriedly, "At the crucial moment, I will save Lei Zai's life." Lei Zifin transmitted his voice and released his soul force. paying attention to Yi Qinfeng's every move. Who exactly are you? You humiliated my Lei clan's people like this. Do you really want to fight to the death with my Lei clan? A rank 6 beast emperor Lei clan disciple, wearing a dark blue robe with a centipede scar on his face, stood out and said softly. He was also an important person under the Great Elder. When he saw that Lei Zai's was in danger, he had no choice but to stand out and protect him. Don't use your Lei clan to pressure me. If I want to kill, no one can stop me. Yi Qinfeng said arrogantly. His voice was filled with unquestionable meaning. What an arrogant tone. Do you think that you are one of the 3 ferocious beasts of the Thunder region? The blue-robed man's eyes twitched violently as he said angrily, Hee, do you still not know who I am? Heartbroken, let out a series of crisp laughter. Her breasts rose and fell as she said seductively, Little brother Qingfeng, how long are you going to hide your identity? Qingfeng, you are the great ferocious Yi Qinfeng. Hearing the voice of Heartbroken, the blue-robed man's expression changed greatly. He couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Lei's eyes, Zhao Yunhu, and Wu Jinxing all revealed a frightened expression. You guys guessed it right. He is Yi Qinfeng. Seeing everyone's frightened expression, Heartbroken's smile became even wider. Now, do you guys think that he dares to kill you? Heartbroken, you really want me to kill them? Feeling that Heartbroken was trying to sow discord, Yi Qinfeng's gaze turned cold as he stared at Heartbroken. Heartbroken, the great ferocious Heartbroken. Gasps rang out one after another in the Wind Thunder Tower. A wisp of fear that came from the depths of their souls occupied the bodies of the young disciples. Many people's faces were deathly pale. Bean-sized beads of sweat continuously appeared on their foreheads as their bodies trembled nonstop. Yes, I don't like them, so I want to borrow your hand to get rid of them. I wonder if you are willing to help me. If you are willing, Big Sister will repay you tonight. Heartbroken said teasingly. Her seductive voice made people daydream. You guys better not mess around. The Grand Supreme Elders of the Thunder Clan are all in the Holy Thunder City. If you kill us, don't even think about leaving the Holy Thunder City alive. Lei's eyes, who was in a panic, used the Thunder Clan to pressure Yi Qinfeng and Duan Fan. You shut up. Don't you think that you haven't caused enough trouble? Lei Ziffin stood out at the right time. He glared at Lei's eyes, who was harboring evil intentions, and shouted loudly, Young Master Yi, Aunt Duan, I wonder if you guys can give me some face and not bicker with them. If this continues, it won't be good for anyone. Lei Ziffin said in a neither haughty nor servile manner. I don't care. I just don't know if young Master Yi can swallow this anger. After all, he was provoked by a few ants. Just thinking about it makes me feel disgusted and heartbroken. They purposely humiliated Lei's eyes. All right, if they are willing to apologize, I will forget about today's matter. If they aren't, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Yi Qinfeng looked at Lei Ziffin and said with killing intent, What are you guys still standing there for? Why aren't you apologizing to young Master Yi? Do you guys really want to be killed? Lei Ziffin and Yi Qinfeng exchanged glances and ordered loudly. Although they were unwilling, Yi Qinfeng and Heartbroken's notoriety was too terrifying. In order to survive, Lei's eyes and the rest who had a conflict with Yi Qinfeng had no choice but to lower their noble heads and apologize to Yi Qinfeng in humiliation. All right, I won't disturb your banquet anymore. Lingyu, let's go. After speaking, Yi Qinfeng didn't stay any longer and left with the Lingyu. If you want to see some of the original images of the characters in this book, please add mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1305. At dawn, everything was silent. A ray of morning light pierced through the mist, ushering in a brand new day. Just at dawn, Holy Thunder City, which had a long history, was bustling with noise and excitement. The branches of ThunderClan all over the Thunder Territory went to the ThunderClan's old house early to attend the feast and pay respects to the Black Lightning King, who had just returned. However, what happened at the Wind Thunder Tower last night still spread through the entire Holy Thunder City through various channels. Many forces smelled a trace of unusual aura and covered the ThunderClan's feast with a layer of haze. This was especially so for the Old Sec's clan leader and the First Elders faction. They were incomparably furious and were determined to get rid of Yi Qinfeng. Beitong King arrived. Jinshi King arrived. Xinglan King arrived. Loud voices sounded at the gate of the ThunderClan's old house. Many county kings who guarded the important areas of the Thunder Territory also rushed back to the ThunderClan's old house to attend the feast. Today, the ThunderClan became extremely terrifying. Nirvana's almighty figures could be seen everywhere. This was also the reason why the three divine kingdoms were unwilling to have a direct conflict with the ThunderClan. Brother, do you think young Master Yi will come today? Lei Zixin, who was wearing a fiery red martial arts suit, was more beautiful than a fairy in a painting. Looking at the endless stream of county kings and branch patriarchs, she was slightly worried. Although Yi Qinfeng's strength was strong, there was still a huge gap between him and a Nirvana Realm expert. Today, even a Nirvana Realm expert would not be able to gain any advantage in the ThunderClan, let alone Yi Qinfeng. Lei Yeqing answered, I don't think he will dare to come. No, I think he will definitely come. Lei Zifin, who was wearing a black robe embroidered with thunder patterns and had a tall and straight figure, said with an affirmative tone, Brother, why do you think he will come? Yesterday's matter made the old patriarch and great elder furious. Once he appears, the old patriarch and great elder will definitely kill him. Lei Yeqing asked puzzledly, if he was afraid, he would not be so arrogant yesterday. Moreover, Aunt Duan told me that Yi Qinfeng came to Holy Thunder City to kill people. Lei Zifin said thoughtfully, is this Yi Qinfeng crazy for killing people? Does he really think that my Lightning Clan is like the Mirror Moon sect, a pushover that he can pinch as he pleases? Lei Yeqing's eyes widened as she spoke in shock. This Yi Qinfeng is not a madman. I feel that he came prepared this time. Moreover, I suspect that he has already made a move against my Thunder Clan, Lei Zifin said. Brother, what do you know? The incomparably beautiful sisters blinked their large eyes as they looked at Lei Zifin's handsome side profile and asked curiously, all of this is just my guess. However, there is one thing that I can be sure of. Lei Zixin has gone missing. Lei Zixin's missing brother. Do you suspect that Yi Qinfeng is behind this? Lei Zixin was an important figure in the Great Elders faction and was deeply loved by Lei Qin. If something happened to him, it would definitely cause a huge commotion in the Thunder Clan. Lei Zifin said, it was most likely done by him. What is this Yi Qinfeng trying to do? Does he really want to cause a bloody storm in my Thunder Clan? Lei Yeqing's brows were tightly knitted together. She was unable to guess Yi Qinfeng's intentions. Brother, what is father's attitude? The wise Lei Zixin asked as she grasped some important information from Lei Zifin's words. Father did not express anything. He did not even pay much attention to what happened in the Fenglei restaurant last night. Lei Zifin's handsome face suddenly revealed a faint smile as he spoke. Could it be that Yi Qinfeng is really relying on Father? Father wants to borrow his hand to eradicate the Great Elders faction? Lei Zixin's beautiful large eyes widened as she made a bold guess. All right, let's not make blind guesses here. I believe that today's banquet will be very lively. Let's go out and wait. After speaking, Lei Zifin and the other two arrived at the bustling plaza that was paved with white jade to receive the various dukes and experts from the various branches. Just as the atmosphere in the Thunder Clan's old residence was getting more and more lively, the various branches of the Thunder Clan had arrived. Duan Chang, who was wearing a black Chong Sam and had a voluptuous figure, exuding a mature charm, appeared in the bustling Thunder Clan's old residence. Beside her stood a tall and straight man. This man was Yi Qin-feng, who caused the Great Elder's faction to gnash their teeth in hatred. The great villain, Yi Qin-feng, has arrived. The news of Yi Qin-feng's arrival instantly spread throughout the Thunder Clan's old residence. Many Thunder Clan's disciples came to the front plaza, wanting to see the appearance of this generation's villain. Brother, you're right. That guy really came. Lei Yeqing, who was standing in the crowd, looked at the tall and straight figure of Yi Qin-feng. Her beautiful large eyes emitted a radiance. She realized that the current Yi Qin-feng was extremely charming, deeply attracting her. What a bold guy! Lei Ziffin revealed a faint smile, looking forward to it. Yi Qin-feng, how dare you come to my Thunder Clan today to make trouble? Do you really think that my Thunder Clan can't deal with you? Lei's eyes, who was injured by Yi Qin-feng's sword yesterday and was forced to apologize to him, jumped out and looked at Yi Qin-feng with hostility and shouted loudly. Seems like the lesson I taught you yesterday was not enough. Looking at Lei's eyes, who was like a clown who was provoking him, Yi Qin-feng's eyes, which were as deep as a black hole, emitted a fierce light and said with a cold, killing intent. Coming into contact with Yi Qin-feng's sharp eyes, Lei's eyes felt as if he was being stared at by a ferocious beast. Although he tried his best to suppress the fear in his heart, the twitching muscles at the corner of his eyes betrayed his heart. Yi Qin-feng, don't be arrogant. Today you will die without a doubt. No one can save you. Unable to withstand the terrifying pressure emitted by Yi Qin-feng, Lei's eyes took a step back and braced himself to say this. Is that so? Yi Qin-feng smiled faintly and said, Do you think I am here to die? With that, the bronze sword spirit suddenly flew out of his sea of soul and turned into an invincible divine sword and slashed towards him with an invincible might. The moment the sword slashed out, the sun, the moon, and the stars were overshadowed. The terrifying power of the great Tao intimidated tens of thousands of enemies. It made Lei's eyes smell the deep breath of death, and he defended with all his strength. Yi Qin-feng, how dare you? The experts of the Thunder Clan didn't expect Yi Qin-feng to be so arrogant, killing people just because of a disagreement. They immediately became angry and attacked him to save Lei's eyes. But the bronze sword spirit's attack speed was too fast, and its power was extraordinarily strong. A bronze light flashed in front of Lei's eyes. Before the experts of the Thunder Clan could save him, the bronze sword spirit broke through Lei's eyes' defense and slashed him into two halves, killing him on the spot. Lei's eyes was dead. Seeing Lei's eyes, who was still alive and kicking a moment ago, turn into a corpse in a pool of blood in the blink of an eye, everyone present was dumbfounded. They felt as if they were dreaming. Some of the younger generation of the Thunder Clan looked at Yi Qin-feng with eyes full of fear and gave up the idea of provoking him. Yi Qin-feng killed Lei's eyes in front of everyone, which was equivalent to completely falling out with the Thunder Clan. The atmosphere of the Thunder Clan's front square became oppressive, making people unable to breathe. Lei, Zai's the first elder, Lei Chen, who was in the main hall, felt the scene of Lei's eyes being killed by Yi Qin-feng in front of everyone. He immediately went crazy. He was like an enraged lion as he roared at the sky. With a frightening killing intent, he charged towards the square in front of him. Yi Qin-feng, today I will definitely turn your bones into ashes. Looking at Yi Qin-feng, who stood proudly and fearlessly, Lei Chen's eyes shot out two rays of bloody light, and with a shocking killing intent, he rushed towards Yi Qin-feng. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1306. Madman. This Yi Qin-feng is definitely a madman. After witnessing Yi Qin-feng killing Lei's eyes and confronting Lei Qin, Lei Yeqing was deeply shocked by Yi Qinfeng's courage. Sword puppet Lei Chun held a long spear that flickered with lightning as it pierced forward. Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the sword spirit puppet to receive the attack, blocking Lei Chen's shocking attack. A large amount of lightning filled the air, causing the entire void to tremble violently. "What are you all in a daze for? Hurry up and capture him. Whoever can capture him will be rewarded with a Gu Dao treasure." Lei Qin continuously increased his strength and condensed Dao diagrams to launch fierce attacks. However, he couldn't injure the sword puppet. This made him more and more alarmed as he fought. He immediately ordered the experts of the Thunder Clan. Hearing Lei Chen's order, the experts of his branch immediately summoned their respective treasures and attacked Yi Qinfeng. As for the experts of Lei Zhongtong's branch, they tacitly chose to stand aside and watch. However, the experts of the various branches of the Thunder Clan didn't see through the trick and attacked Yi Qinfeng one after another, facing nearly 100 attacks from all directions. Even the great vicious Heartbreaker felt the aura of death. He couldn't help but take a step back. As for Lei Zifin, Lei Zixin, and the rest, they were so frightened that they didn't dare to watch. However, Yi Qinfeng, who was at the tip of the blade wave, was surprisingly calm. He stood in place without moving. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Yi Qinfeng was swallowed by nearly 100 destructive attacks. The space where he was just a moment ago had crisscrossing cracks and was constantly collapsing. "Big brother, is Yi Qinfeng dead?" Lei Yeqing's eyes widened when she saw Yi Qinfeng disappear into the collapsing space. She immediately looked at Lei Zifin and asked in a low voice, "I don't know either." Even a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert wouldn't be able to withstand the joint attack of nearly 100 Thunder Clan members, let alone Yi Qinfeng. However, Lei Zifin felt that Yi Qinfeng wouldn't die. Since he dared to come here alone, he definitely had an unexpected trump card. Just as the collapsed space gradually repaired itself and the storm that filled the air disappeared, Yi Qinfeng appeared unscathed. Along with him were the Chaos Divine Beast and the Marquis of Qianming. Space treasure! He had a space treasure! Seeing the strange appearance of Yi Qinfeng's group of 3, the Thunder Clan experts besieging Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. They were shocked that Yi Qinfeng possessed a legendary spatial treasure. Kill after leaving the universe realm. Yi Qinfeng's body emitted a towering, killing intent. He ignited his 3 bloodlines and wielded the Dragon's Spine, sacred sword. Together with the Chaos Divine Beast and the Marquis of Qianming, he attacked the Lightning Clan's experts. Facing the attack of Yi Qinfeng's group, the Thunder Clan's experts immediately launched a counterattack and a chaotic battle ensued. Golden Battle God. Although Yi Qinfeng's group of 3's attacks were ferocious, there were too many Thunder Clan's experts. There was no lack of Nirvana's almighty experts, which caused them to be under immense pressure. Without a choice, Yi Qinfeng summoned the Golden Battle God. He borrowed the Golden Battle God's powerful attack power to resist the attacks of the Thunder Clan's experts. Just as the scene was in chaos, an angry roar resounded. "All of you, stop!" Father, he had finally arrived. Lei Zifin looked at the silver-robed Lei Zhongtong, who was emitting a domineering aura without being angry. Lei Zifin then cast his gaze towards Yi Qinfeng, seemingly deep in thought. When Lei Zhongtong appeared, the experts from the various branches that besieged Yi Qinfeng retreated. The experts from the Great Elders faction hesitated for a moment before stopping their attacks. However, they sealed off Yi Qinfeng's escape route. "Patriarch, this Yi Qinfeng is lawless. During the Thunder Clan's banquet, he killed my son in front of everyone. Today I must take his life." After dodging the sword puppet's attack, Lei Chun dodged to the side. He glared fiercely at Yi Qinfeng as he spoke with a murderous aura. "Yi Qinfeng, my Thunder Clan has no enmity with you. Why did you kill my Thunder Clan's disciples and cause a commotion in my Thunder Clan's banquet?" Lei Zhongtong's deep eyes flashed as he questioned sternly. Patriarch Lei, if I said that I am not here to cause trouble but to help you, would you believe me? Although the situation was dangerous, Yi Qinfeng didn't show a trace of panic on his face. He replied in a neither haughty nor humble manner. Bullshit. Today, even if you have a glib tongue, you will not be able to escape death. Lei Chen roared in anger. He looked like he wouldn't stop until he killed Yi Qinfeng. Lei Chen, I am talking to Patriarch Lei. Why are you talking? Do you think you are the patriarch of the Thunder Clan? Yi Qinfeng looked at Lei Chen, whose forehead was bulging with veins, and said rudely, You are courting death. The pain of losing his son almost made Lei Chen lose his mind. Now that he was being ridiculed by Yi Qinfeng in front of everyone, he couldn't control the anger in his heart. Holding the quasi-sage treasure spear in his hand, he charged at Yi Qinfeng like a furious lightning dragon. Ancient map fragment, forbidden Yi Qinfeng, seemed to have anticipated that Lei Chen would attack. The ancient map fragment appeared the right time, directly trapping Lei Chen, who was brimming with killing intent, in the ancient map fragment. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng, the chaos divine beast, the sword puppet, the golden battle god, and the Marquis of Qianming attacked Lei Chen, who was trapped in the ancient map fragment. They shattered his lightning spear and continuously attacked his body. Although Lei Chen was strong, he hadn't cultivated to the nirvana heavenly realm. As for the golden battle god's attack, it was close to the limits of a nirvana mighty figure. In addition, the attacks of Yi Qinfeng and company were equally terrifying. He couldn't withstand it alone. In the blink of an eye, cracks appeared on Lei Chen's physical defense. Waves of attacks beyond his imagination bombarded his body continuously. If it weren't for the fact that he had many defensive treasures, this attack would have been enough to destroy his physical body. Yi Qinfeng, do you still want to kill me? After being trapped in the ancient map fragment, the furious Lei Chen calmed down. He had a feeling that he had fallen into Yi Qinfeng's trap. Yi Qinfeng had purposely enraged him with the goal of killing him. That's right, you are right. I'm here today to kill you. With that said, Yi Qinfeng and company continued attacking Lei Chen. They wanted to use this limited time to kill him. Release the Grand Elder. Upon seeing Yi Qinfeng summon the ancient map fragment to trap Lei Chen, the experts from Lei Chen's lineage were instantly enraged. They summoned their Gudao treasure and attacked the ancient map fragment. They wanted to tear it apart and rescue the trapped Lei Chen. The attacks of the Lightning Clan experts were extremely terrifying, but the ancient map fragment's defense was even more astonishing. It temporarily withstood the attacks of dozens of experts from Lei Chen's lineage. Lei Chen, this day next year will be your doomsday. Accept your fate. Yi Qinfeng summoned the 9-dragon jade annulus and injected the 7-fold soul power of the dragon bloodline into the jade annulus. He controlled the jade annulus to condense a deadly dragon and attacked Lei Chen at close range. When Lei Chen ignited his bloodline power and used his strongest trump card to resist the 9-dragon jade annulus, the golden war god, the sword puppet, the chaos divine beast, and the Marquis of Qianming appeared at the same time. They controlled their quasi-sage treasures and released the most terrifying killing moves. They bombarded his body, shattering his body, and ending his life. Crack! After being attacked by the experts from Lei Chen's lineage like a storm, the ancient map fragment cracked, revealing Lei Chen's severely injured body. He was devoured by the destructive power and was on his last breath. Die! Just when the experts from Lei Chen's lineage saw that Lei Chen's life was in danger and wanted to rescue him, the bronze sword spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's soul sea. It turned into a shocking sword and split Lei Chen's heavily injured body in half. The Grand Elder of the Lightning Clan, Lei Chen, who had great ambition and power, was killed by Yi Qinfeng on the spot. Mobile reading home. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1307. Lei Chen was dead. Yi Qinfeng actually killed Lei Chen. Was this guy crazy? Witnessing Yi Qinfeng controlling the bronze sword soul to split Lei Chen apart and kill him on the spot, the chaotic Lei clan's old residents fell silent. Watermark advertisement, test watermark advertisement, test. Everyone's gaze landed on the blood-soaked Yi Qinfeng, who looked like an invincible killing god. They couldn't believe that he dared to kill Lei Chen. Crazy, crazy, this Yi Qinfeng was definitely crazy. He even dared to kill the great elder, who even her father had to tolerate. He was definitely a madman. Lei Yecheng stared at Yi Qinfeng dumbfoundedly, as if she had seen a ghost. Lei Chen was dead. The old patriarch would probably make a move. Would her father be able to protect young Master Yi? At this moment, Lei Zixin was certain that Yi Qinfeng was here for the old patriarch and the great elder's bloodline. The one backing him was most likely her father, Lei Zhongtong. Otherwise, Yi Qinfeng wouldn't be so daring to kill Lei Zai's and Lei Qin consecutively. Zixin just watched slowly. I think what happened just now was just the appetizer. There will be more exciting things later on. Lei Zifeng glanced at Yi Qinfeng, whose face was slightly pale but was calm and collected as he drank the water of heavenly fate to quickly recover his soul power. He felt that killing Lei Chen was just the beginning, and his true opponent was the old patriarch Lei Yi, great elder. When Lei Chen's people saw that their leader Lei Chen was killed, they were all enraged. They all attacked Yi Qinfeng, wanting to kill him and avenge Lei Chen. Universe Realm withdraw. When faced with the killing moves of the several dozen Thunder Tribe experts, Yi Qinfeng did not face them head-on. Instead, he sent everyone into the Universe Realm to avoid the destructive attacks that could shatter mountains and cut off rivers. Patriarch, the Great Elder, is dead. You must avenge him. After failing to kill Yi Qinfeng, Lei Chen's bloodline experts immediately begged Lei Zhongtong. They wanted to borrow Lei Zhongtong's strength to seal off the Lei clan's old residents and trap Yi Qinfeng here. Lei clan leader, don't you want to know why I killed Lei Chen? At this moment, Yi Qinfeng left the cosmic realm with the sword puppet and golden battle god. He looked at Lei Zhongtong, who had a gloomy expression that made it impossible for anyone to guess his thoughts. State your reason, Lei Zhongtong said sternly. The reason was simple. Lei Qin had secretly colluded with other powers in an attempt to split up the Thunder Clan and seize their resources. I don't want to be split up by the Thunder Clan. That's why I acted against him. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. You're slandering me. The Great Elder is loyal to the Thunder Clan and would never do anything to divide the Thunder Clan. Immediately, someone jumped out to refute Yi Qinfeng. Someone even controlled the Gu Dao treasure and prepared to kill Yi Qinfeng. All of you stop for me. Whoever dares to disobey my order and make a move without permission. Don't blame me for being impolite to him. Lei Zhongtong displayed his authority as the Lei clan's clan leader. He warned. You said that De Zhonglao is colluding with the foreign enemy in an attempt to divide our Lei clan. But do you have evidence? Of course I have evidence. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng summoned the imprisoned Lei Zixin out of the universe mirror. As expected, Lei Zixin was suppressed by him. Looking at the heavily injured Lei Zixin, who was tied up and unable to move, Lei Zifeng revealed a faint smile, confirming his earlier guess. As for Lei Chen's bloodline, when they saw Lei Chen's most beloved son, Lei Zixin, being controlled by Yi Qinfeng, their hearts burned with rage and a trace of uneasiness. Yi Qinfeng, did Lei Zixin tell you those things? Lei Zhongtong questioned. It wasn't Lei Zixin who told me, but I searched his soul and obtained the information from his soul sea. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently. If Lei clan leader doesn't believe me, you can search Lei Zixin's soul and the truth will be revealed. I hope you didn't lie to me. Otherwise, I won't let you leave the Thunder Clan alive. Lei Zhongtong warned. Hand Lei Zixin over to me. Okay. Yi Qinfeng nodded and tossed Lei Zixin, who was tied up and unable to move, to Lei Zhongtong with a look of despair on his face. Clan leader, Zixin is the descendant of the great elder. Please be merciful and don't harm his soul. Several elders from Lei Chen's bloodline begged for mercy for Lei Zixin, not wanting Lei Zhongtong to search his soul. All of you, shut up. Lei Zhongtong's face darkened as he looked at the Lei clan's elders, who opposed him in private and shouted loudly. Bang! Just as Lei Zhongtong was about to search Lei Zixin's soul, a terrifying soul force surged into Lei Zixin's soul sea and directly crushed his soul, turning him into a walking corpse without any consciousness. Old clan leader Lei Zhongtong's face changed slightly as he looked behind him. He saw the old clan leader Lei Yi, who was wearing a black robe and looked to be in his 40s, walking over in the air. With every step he took, the space trembled, and the vast aura he emitted made everyone present tremble. Zhongtong, you really disappoint me. Lei Yi's turbid eyes shot out a light brighter than the stars. Looking at Lei Zhongtong's angry face, he said in a deep voice, Lei Chun was killed, but you didn't avenge him. Instead, you listened to the killer's nonsense. You really disappoint the Thunder Clan. Old clan leader, when I was in power, I thought everything I did was for the Thunder Clan. Lei Zhongtong countered with neither arrogance nor humility. And the death of the great elder, I was also heartbroken, so I wanted to investigate the truth and clear the great elder's name. Lei Qin didn't do anything wrong. Why do you need to clear his name? Lei Yi cast his eyes toward Yi Qinfeng and said, Now the murderer is in front of you. Won't you avenge Lei Qin? Old clan leader, if you didn't shatter Zixin's soul and let me investigate the truth, I would definitely avenge the great elder. But now it seems that there are some unknown secrets in the truth. Lei Zhongtong and Lei Yi didn't get along. If it wasn't for his amazing talent and the Thunder Clan Grand Elder's favor, he would never be the clan leader. I didn't shatter Zixin's soul, but he purposely left a hidden hand in Zixin's soul. Lei Yi said shamelessly, Such a simple trick, can't you see it? Forget it. Since you don't want to avenge Lei Qin, I won't force you. Lei Yi shook his head and said, I will kill him myself and cut off his head to pay tribute to Lei Qin. This Lei Zhongtong furrowed his brows tightly. What? You want to stop me? Lei Yi said with an unfriendly face. Clan leader Lei is afraid that I will hurt you, Yi Qinfeng suddenly said. The ignorant are fearless. If I want to kill you, no one can stop me. As he spoke, Lei Yi took a step forward. A force beyond Yi Qinfeng's imagination exploded from Lei Yi's body and fiercely suppressed Yi Qinfeng. Feeling this force, Yi Qinfeng's face changed slightly. He didn't expect that Lei Yi wasn't an ordinary Nirvana powerhouse, but a half-step Nirvana powerhouse who had been baptized by the power of Lihan Heaven. Facing the strongest enemy he had fought so far, Yi Qinfeng's cold and arrogant face revealed an unparalleled fighting spirit. He stood tall and straight like a pine tree, proud and aloof, with his sword pointing to the sky, fearless and without fear. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1308. Lightning King, this little fella that you found is really lawless. His guts are way too big. She wore a plain robe and had a head full of silver hair. Even though there were wrinkles at the corner of her eyes, it couldn't hide her beauty. One of the supreme elders of the Thunder Tribe, Lei Zidian, was sitting cross-legged on top of a beautiful mountain in the forbidden zone of the Thunder Tribe. She could sense the commotion in the square of the Thunder Tribe and spoke with a distant voice. If he was an ordinary person, how could he solve the internal problems of the Thunder Tribe and cut off the tumor of our Thunder Tribe? The Black Lightning King, who had just returned to the Thunder Tribe after wandering outside for a long time, said with neither joy nor sorrow, Sigh, what a pity for Lei Qin. If he had put all his efforts into cultivation, he could have broken through to the nirvana heavenly realm in Lihin heaven in his lifetime. At that time, our thunder tribe would be unprecedentedly strong. Lei Zidian sighed softly and said with a sigh, Zidian, you're still too soft-hearted. If you were more ruthless and restrained Lei Yi, none of this would have happened. The Black Lightning King shook his head and said, The blood of the thunder tribe flows in my body. I really can't bear to lay my hands on the descendant of the thunder tribe. Furthermore, Lei Yi is the direct descendant of our ancestor. We have to care about our ancestor's face. Lei Zidian spoke out her concerns. That's right. If not for the fact that our ancestor is in a deep slumber, I would have taken action personally to remove this tumor. At the mention of the Thunder Tribe's ancestor, the Black Lightning King's face revealed a look of reverence. For the Thunder Tribe to be where they are today, the Thunder Tribe's ancestor had contributed greatly. At the most dangerous moment of the Thunder Tribe, he had used his own body to prop up the Thunder Tribe and brought about a bright future for the Thunder Tribe. This is also the reason why you're borrowing the hands of outsiders to remove this tumor. Lei Zidian said, That's right. If this tumor is not removed, the Thunder Tribe's development will be restricted. Borrowing the hands of outsiders can shut up the mouths of others. However, Yi Qinfeng's methods are truly beyond my imagination. He's more outstanding and ruthless than I thought. The Black Lightning King nodded. As the two supreme elders of the Thunder Tribe were talking, Lei Yi and Yi Qinfeng's doppelgangers were engaged in an intense battle. A terrifying destructive force was formed, causing the light barrier to tremble violently as though the end of the world had arrived. Yi Qinfeng, give me your life. At this time, the two Nirvana experts of the Lei clan suddenly attacked Yi Qinfeng. They wanted to kill him while his two avatars were fighting with Lei Yi. I don't want to start a massacre in the Thunder Clan. I hope you won't force me. Yi Qinfeng used his sword steps and continuously transformed into afterimages in the air, dodging the sneak attacks of the two Nirvana powerhouses. He reappeared in the air and took out the Saint Annihilation orb as he coldly threatened. Stop it! Get back here! Seeing Yi Qinfeng take out the Saint Annihilation Pearl, Lei Zhongtong's expression changed slightly as he ordered loudly. Lei Zhongtong was well aware of how terrifying the Saint Annihilation Pearl was. If he really forced Yi Qinfeng into a corner and made him detonate the Saint Annihilation Pearl, it would cause immeasurable damage to the Thunder Clan. Moreover, he wasn't sure how many Saint Annihilation Pearls Yi Qinfeng had. Not to mention, he knew the inside story and didn't want to cause any harm to the innocent. Feeling the destructive power of the Saint Annihilation Pearl, the two Nirvana powerhouses who attacked Yi Qinfeng showed fear and didn't dare to approach for a while. After using the Saint Annihilation Pearl to intimidate the Nirvana powerhouses, Yi Qinfeng wore a golden dragon robe and stood in the air. He controlled the God-Eater brain to repair the ancient map fragment while paying attention to the fierce battle between the two avatars and Lei Yi. Brother, how do you think today's matter will end? Lei Zixin glanced at Yi Qinfeng, who was standing in the air calmly, and asked softly, I don't know either. Lei Zifen sighed softly, shook his head, and said, But if the two supreme elders don't show up, then today's matter will develop into a fight to the death. Brother, do you think young Master Yi will kill the old patriarch? Lei Zixin gently bit her pink lips and murmured. Although Lei Yi's strength was extremely terrifying and had one foot in the Nirvana heavenly realm, Lei Zixin subconsciously felt that Yi Qinfeng would have the last laugh. Zixin, don't make things difficult for your brother. I really can't guess. Lei Yi was the old patriarch of the Lei clan. His position in the Lei clan was much higher than Lei Chen's. Even Lei Zhongtong didn't dare to offend him. Moreover, Lei Zifen also heard that Lei Yi was the only bloodline of the Lei clan's ancestor. The ancestor who hadn't shown up for tens of thousands of years seemed to still be alive. If Yi Qin-feng killed Lei Yi, then it would really pierce through the sky. Perhaps even the two supreme elders wouldn't be able to protect him. 10,000 thunder, dance Lei Yi summoned the three great Tao diagrams and fought intensely with a lightning-flashing holy sword for 5 minutes. When he realized that he couldn't do anything to the sword puppet and the golden battle god, he was immediately enraged. Large amounts of lightning spread out from his body like dancing snakes. They bombarded the sword puppet and the golden battle god, constantly shattering their attacks and forcing them to retreat. "Junior, hand over your life." Lei Yi's eyes that flickered with lightning locked onto Yi Qin-feng. Like a bolt of lightning that tore through the sky, he struck at Yi Qin-feng, wanting to kill him first. As long as he killed him, his two avatars, the sword puppet and the golden battle god, would be nothing to fear. As Lei Yi approached, Yi Qin-feng pretended to project the holy destruction pearl. When he saw Yi Qin-feng's actions, Lei Yi's expression changed slightly as his rapidly approaching body paused. "So you're afraid too." Yi Qin-feng smiled faintly and withdrew his hand. Then he executed the sword steps and instantly flew more than 10 meters away. He mocked with a faint smile. "Junior, do you really think I can't do anything to you?" Lei Yi felt extremely humiliated to be scared away by Yi Qin-feng in front of everyone. Just as he was about to use his killer move to attack Yi Qin-feng, the sword puppet and the golden battle god suddenly approached him and continued to attack him like a tidal wave, not giving him a chance to attack Yi Qin-feng. "Lightning King, how do you want to end things today?" Lei Zidian looked at the holy destruction pearl in Yi Qin-feng's hand and couldn't help but frown. She had no doubt that once Yi Qin-feng detonated the holy destruction pearl, it would deal a devastating blow to the Lightning Clan. "To be honest, I want to borrow his hand to eliminate the biggest tumor of the Lightning Clan." Black Lightning King's eyes flashed with killing intent as he slowly said, "Lightning King, you're crazy. Lei Yi is the only bloodline of the progenitor. If he dies, it's very likely that it will anger the progenitor. When that happens, there will be no end to this matter." Lei Zidian's expression changed slightly as she reminded him. "Sigh, actually I'm also hesitant, but I think that for the future of the Lightning Clan, this tumor must be eliminated. If the progenitor blames us, I will bear the responsibility alone." Black Lightning King said with a strong sense of righteousness. "Lightning King, is it worth it? If the progenitor blames you, you may die." Although the progenitor of the Lightning Clan had been asleep for tens of thousands of years, Lei Zidian knew how terrifying he was. Her brows tightly knitted together as she said in a serious tone, "And I don't think Yi Qin-feng can kill Lei Yi. Zidian, you underestimate the holy destruction pearl in his hand. Once it is detonated, Lei Yi will definitely die." Black Lightning King took a deep breath as his eyes revealed a trace of determination. The fierce battle between Lei Yi and the golden battle god and the sword puppet became more and more intense. In the fierce battle, Lei Yi repeatedly tried to kill Yi Qin-feng, but Yi Qin-feng relied on his absolute speed to evade. Over time, Lei Yi, whose continuous attacks were fruitless, also lost his patience. Explosively, he shouted, "Lei Clan's kings, elders, and protectors, listen to my order. Together with me, we will kill the invading enemy and avenge Lei Qin." Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1309. All of you stop. Whoever dares to disobey my orders will be punished according to the clan's rules. Watermark advertisement. Test watermark advertisement. Lei Zhongtong's body flashed as he stood in front of more than a dozen Nirvana County kings from the Thunder Clan and gave an irresistible order. "Lei Zhongtong, you sure have guts. Are you going to betray my Thunder Clan?" Lei Yi was furious. He never expected that Lei Zhongtong would go against him at such a crucial moment. "Old Patriarch, I can't just watch them throw their lives away. Once Yi Chenfeng detonates that pearl of destruction, I think many people will lose their lives because of it. My Thunder Clan can't bear such a loss. Lei Zhongtong found an excuse and retorted in a tone that was neither arrogant nor humble. You. Lei Yi was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Although he was extremely powerful, Yi Chenfeng's two clones were too difficult to deal with. One had invincible defense, while the other had shocking attacks. They constantly countered his attacks and suppressed them, making him feel rather uncomfortable. Now that Lei Zhongtong had ordered the experts of the Thunder Clan to watch from the side, it was difficult for him to back down. Don't involve so many people. I'm standing right here. If you want to kill me, then come. It's time to settle this. Yi Chenfeng stood in midair as he looked at the livid Lei Yi and said domineeringly. Behind him, a terrifying spatial black hole appeared. This spatial black hole was the entrance to the universe realm. In order to kill Lei Yi, he wanted to lure Lei Yi into the universe realm. As long as Lei Yi dared to step into the universe realm, Yi Chenfeng would be able to control his life and death. Looking at the spatial black hole behind Yi Chenfeng that looked like a huge mouth, Lei Yi felt his heart palpitate. He frowned tightly and didn't approach blindly. Why? Are you afraid? As the old patriarch of the Thunder Clan, even you, who tried to split the Thunder Clan, will be afraid? Yi Chenfeng looked at Lei Yi, who dodged the attacks of the Sword Puppet and Golden Battle God, and sneered. Junior, the Lei clan knows my character very well. You can't smear my name, Lei Yi said with a gloomy face. I have seen thick-skinned people, but I have never seen someone as thick-skinned as you. Really, the longer you live, the more shameless you become. Yi Chenfeng sneered and said, It doesn't matter if you don't admit it. Today I will tell the world that you colluded with Lei Chen, colluded with foreign enemies, and attempted to divide the Lei clan. Let's see what else you have to say. With that said, Yi Chenfeng took out the Qiankuan ring that Yin Ruashi had given him and took out a memory stone. When he poured a large amount of soul power into the memory stone, streaks of light from the memory stone were projected into the void, forming a large number of images. Looking at the scene before him, Lei Yi's expression changed drastically. The entire Thunder Clan was in an uproar. The scene in the video was evidence of Lei Chun colluding with the Mirror Moon sect to transfer the Thunder Clan's resources. There were also some important conversations. Junior, you are courting death. Lei Yi didn't expect Yi Chenfeng to have evidence of Lei Chen's collusion. While he was shocked, his killing intent became stronger. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. I still have evidence of your collusion with the Mirror Moon sect's ancestor. With that said, Yi Chenfeng took out a second memory stone and showed it to everyone. Junior, don't you dare fray my. Lei Yi had indeed contacted the Mirror Moon sect's ancestor in private. He was afraid that Yi Chenfeng really had evidence of him colluding with foreign enemies to transfer the Thunder Clan's resources. Once the evidence was exposed, there would be no place for him in the Thunder Clan. Rumble. Endless lightning rang out from Lei Yi's body. Lei Yi raised his speed to the limit. Holding the lightning-flashing, sacred sword, he slashed at Yi Chenfeng. Lei Yi quickly slashed, but Yi Chenfeng didn't dodge. Instead, he retreated into the entrance of the Qiankuan realm, leading the angry Lei Yi into the Qiankuan realm. This time, Lei Yi didn't hesitate and directly rushed in. He swore to kill Yi Chenfeng and destroy all the evidence he had. Qiankuan realm pass. After successfully luring Lei Yi into the Qiankuan realm, Yi Chenfeng immediately closed the Qiankuan realm and summoned the Sword Puppet and Golden Battle God in. Disappeared. The old patriarch and Yi Chenfeng disappeared together. Seeing Yi Chenfeng and Lei Yi mysteriously disappear, the Thunder Clan's old residence was in an uproar. However, after seeing the evidence Yi Chenfeng had just revealed, the Thunder Clan's people smelled something unusual. In addition to Lei Zhongtong's attitude and the two Grand Elders who hadn't appeared yet, many people felt that a great change was about to happen in the Thunder Clan. And the source of this great change was Lei Yi and Lei Chen's bloodline. Lei Yi, I didn't expect you to really dare to come in. After leading Lei Yi into the universe realm, Yi Qinfeng felt completely at ease. As he stood on the spiritual energy cloud, he smiled faintly as he looked at the sullen Lei Yi, who had a ferocious glint in his eyes. Junior, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect the spatial treasure you control to be of such a high level. Looking at the extremely vast and picturesque space in front of him and feeling the dense spiritual energy floating in the air, Lei Yi's turbid eyes shot out a greedy look. He really wanted to take the Qingkuan realm for himself. What? You want my Qingkuan realm? Looking at the burning look in Lei Yi's eyes, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile and said, Since ancient times, treasures belong to those who are capable. A weakling like you doesn't deserve this spatial treasure. Lei Yi still had a trump card that he hadn't used yet. He believed that once he used it, Yi Qinfeng would die without a doubt. Lei Yi, you are too arrogant. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said calmly, Show me your true strength. If you are strong enough, maybe I will spare your life. Junior, do you really think that I can't do anything to you just because you have two doppelgangers? Today, I will let you know my true strength. Lei Yi laughed arrogantly. An ancient savage beast appeared on his body. In the mouth of the ancient savage beast, there was a blood-red bead. Pre-celestial Saint Treasure looking at the blood-red bead in the ancient savage beast's mouth, the God-Eater brain became restless. Through the feedback of the God-Eater brain, Yi Qinfeng was surprised to find that the blood-red bead was the same as the spiritual pearl of life and the spiritual pearl of death. They were all pre-celestial saint treasures. Yi Qinfeng was very clear about the value of pre-celestial saint treasures. As his strength increased, pre-celestial saint treasures would be more and more helpful to Yi Qinfeng. Junior, you can be proud that you can force out Ai's treasure. Even if you die, you can still be proud. As he spoke, Lei Yi merged with the ancient savage beast and the blood-red bead. A large amount of blood energy exploded in his body, crazily increasing his strength. In the blink of an eye, Lei Yi crossed the last step and stepped into the nirvana heavenly realm. The destructive power in his body posed a great threat to Yi Qinfeng. This was a pre-celestial saint treasure that could increase one's strength. Yi Qinfeng's realm was relatively low. What he needed most now was a treasure to increase his strength. It could be said that the bead in Lei Yi's hand was extremely important to him. If he could have it, he would have the capital to fight against the top experts of the Central Continent, even if he didn't use the life spirit technique in the future. Kid, go to hell. Borrowing the power of the pre-celestial saint treasure to increase his strength to the limit. Lei Yi's eyes shot out dazzling lightning. He slashed at Yi Qinfeng with the sacred thunder sword in his hand. He wanted to kill him and take everything from him. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1310. Three thunder strikes. The three Tao diagrams that appeared behind Lei Yi turned into flowing water and surged into the sacred thunder sword, launching 3 consecutive attacks at Yi Qinfeng. Watermark advertisement. Test watermark advertisement. Test the terrifying lightning storm, which contained a terrifying power, directly engulfed Yi Qinfeng. What kind of power is this? Lei Yi thought that even if this attack couldn't kill Yi Qinfeng, it could at least severely injure him. However, when his powerful soul sensed the scene in the thunderstorm, his eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. Layers of energy halos appeared around Yi Qinfeng's body. Every time the thunderstorm tore through these halos and attacked Yi Qinfeng, these halos that protected Yi Qinfeng could repair themselves. The 3 thunder strikes that he launched couldn't hurt him at all. Lei Yi, I am the heavens here. I am the ruler. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. Yi Qin-feng used the power of the universe realm to tear apart the thunderstorm that engulfed him and walked out of the void. He looked at Lei Yi with a solemn expression and said domineeringly, "Is that so? Then I'll shatter this space and kill you." As he spoke, a holy treasure level light seal with a dragon circling it appeared above Lei Yi's head. It attacked Yi Qin-feng, wanting to use the power of the holy treasure to break through the spatial wall of the universe realm. Under the attack of the dragon light shadow, a large area of distortion appeared in the space of the universe realm. Cracks appeared on the spatial wall where the light seal crashed. 9 dragon diagram. Suppress when cracks appeared in the space of the universe realm. Yi Qin-feng summoned the 9 dragon diagram and swallowed the dragon light seal in the diagram. Then Yi Qin-feng condensed the 4 Dao diagrams and madly released runes of Dao intent into the 9 serpent diagrams, condensing 9 serpent spirits to suppress the restless serpent dragon light seal. The mid-grade holy treasure sensed that the dragon light seal was being suppressed by the 9 dragon diagram. Lei Yi's expression changed slightly as he revealed a look of surprise. "Junior, you really surprise me more and more. A mid-grade holy treasure has already surprised you. Isn't your horizons too low?" Yi Qin-feng mocked. Under his command, the sword puppet and golden battle god attacked from both sides. As Lei Yi relied on his absolute strength to fight Yi Qin-feng's 2 clones head-on and force them back, Yi Qin-feng suddenly approached Lei Yi with sword steps. Fiery Emperor lightning as Yi Qin-feng approached him. Lei Yi immediately used a mystic art. A vertical eye that burned with flames split open on his forehead. A large amount of golden emperor lightning bolts shot out from the vertical eye and struck Yi Qin-feng. 9 dragon jade annulus after being attacked by Lei Yi's fiery emperor lightning. The 9 dragon jade annulus appeared in Yi Qin-feng's hand. He burned his dragon bloodline again and amplified his soul power by 7 times. He poured it into the 9 dragon jade annulus without reservation, controlling the jade annulus to condense a murderous dragon that tore through the incoming emperor lightning and struck Lei Yi. Boom! Although Yi Qin-feng couldn't unleash the full power of the 9 dragon jade annulus, it was a supreme grade holy treasure after all. Its instantaneous power was beyond imagination. Unable to dodge in time, Lei Yi was struck by the murderous dragon. A large portion of his body's defense shattered, and he was sent flying by the murderous dragon. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Chaos Divine Beast, Marquis Qianming, Spirit Fish, 3 seniors, quickly come and help me. After injuring Lei Yi with the help of the 9 dragon jade annulus, Yi Qin-feng immediately called the Chaos Divine Beast and the others over. Even Kong Sun-chin and company, who had been in seclusion in the universe realm to consolidate nirvana, were awakened by him and attacked Lei Yi together. Thunder and lightning being besieged by the crowd, Lei Yi relied on his absolute strength to suppress the injuries on his body. He unleashed endless lightning bolts that bombarded the crowd. He wanted to kill the weaker Ling Yu, Jiang Xingchen, and the others first. The power of universe isolated the space endless lightning broke out of Lei Yi's body. Yi Qin-feng immediately mobilized the power of universe to isolate the space around Lei Yi's body, forcefully weakening the power of the lightning. When Lei Yi's ultimate move was weakened to the extreme by Yi Qin-feng's control of the power of universe, the sword puppet and golden battle god approached Lei Yi's body. They launched ultimate moves at him from both sides, dragging his energy. In the next moment, the Chaos Divine Beast transformed into his combat form. He unleashed more than 200 million kilograms of strength and threw the quasi-saint ancient bronze coffin at Lei Yi. At this moment, Spirit Fish, Marquis Qianming, and the others also controlled their respective quasi-saint treasures and attacked Lei Yi together. Although Lei Yi's strength was strong after fusing with the primordial holy treasure, he was still shocked when he was attacked by so many quasi-saint weapons and quasi-saint treasures at the same time. He wanted to dodge, but under Yi Qin-feng's control of the power of universe, Lei Yi's dodging speed was greatly affected. He couldn't dodge the quasi-saint treasures that came from all directions. His body's defense was broken again. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth as he kept retreating. Celestial Master Bloodline. Divine Demon Bloodline. Burn with the help of the water of heavenly secrets. Yi Qinfeng quickly recovered his almost dry soul power. He burned 2 bloodlines and condensed 4 Dao patterns. They floated above his head and leaped high. Gu Jianga, Heart of Sword Bright, Moon with a slash. The 4 Dao patterns and the power of universe merged together and turned into a divine sword with the sound of great Tao. It slashed at Lei Yi, whose blood was boiling. The moment Gu Jianga slashed down, all the brilliance was swallowed up. It was as if there was only that invincible divine sword left in the world. Facing Yi Qinfeng's divine sword, Lei Yi took a deep breath and stabilized his body. He held the sacred thunder sword in his hand to block with all his strength. Thousands of thunderbolts gushed out from the sacred sword, blocking Yi Qinfeng's Gu Jianga. Boom! Lei Yi blocked Yi Qinfeng's ultimate killing move. But he couldn't block the attack of the Golden Battle God who had circled behind him. The Golden Battle God blasted out, and the dazzling golden fist light slammed into Lei Yi's body. The power that erupted in an instant made Lei Yi lose control of his body and his injuries worsen. Silver Feather Lightning Scripture. Lei Yi took a deep breath and suppressed his injuries. A large amount of silver feather-like lightning flew out of his body. Like a thunderstorm, it attacked the sword puppet, Chaos Divine Beast, Marquis Qianming, and the others who were close to him. He wanted to kill them. The power of universe, space confinement, seeing that Marquis Qianming and the others were in danger. Yi Qinfeng continued to control the power of universe to isolate the space and dissolve Lei Yi's ultimate killing move. His attacks were repeatedly dissolved by Yi Qinfeng, and the Jiao Dragon Light Seal was forcibly suppressed by the 9 Jiao patterns. This made Lei Yi, who was restrained everywhere and couldn't use the real strength of the Nirvana heavenly realm, smell the danger. Lei Yi, who was continuously attacked by the quasi-holy treasures controlled by Marquis Qianming and the others, and his injuries kept worsening. He summoned a dark gold ancient mirror and embedded it in the broken battle suit on his chest. It was an ancient mirror of the quasi-holy treasure level. Yi Qinfeng sneered and said, "Lei Yi, you are too shabby. A treasure of this level can't save your life." Junior, external force is always external force. You can't kill me with external force. Lei Yi took a deep breath and burned all the blood in his body. His whole person was like the last radiance of the setting sun. He became several years younger, and his strength increased again. Whoosh! With an ear-piercing sound, Lei Yi, whose blood were burning, suddenly accelerated. With the sacred thunder sword in his hand, he broke through the quasi-holy treasures and attacked Yi Qinfeng, who controlled the universe mirror and kept restraining his attacks. As long as he killed Yi Qinfeng, his crisis would be solved. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the bookmark below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.